So why were they trying to replace you for Civ yesterday?
I wasn't around yesterday. I was on with my other friends.
Wow.
I told them that yesterday.
SMH.
The day before, I told them I'm not going to be on tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they at me, I'm like, I told you I'm not going to get on tonight, and then they call me cringe. Even though I gave them like 24-hour notice, I'm not going to be on tonight.
Dude, that's
like,
a classic, bro.
That's
That's a
really
classic.
I'm like, bro.
Yeah, because I woke
Like,
up this
told
morning. Yeah, I woke up this morning and checked Discord. I didn't go online yesterday. And I was like, wait, why have I been added? I never get added because I don't play video games. And then I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I just saw replace Alex or something like that. Like you're going to replace Alex. And I was like, this is 12 hours old at this point. I guess I'm too late, but...
That is such a classic. You tell the boys, you can't play. Then the following evening, where the fuck is he?
Yeah.
Get online! God damn.
That's funny.
Jesus Christ.
Did you have an enjoyable time with your in-person friends, your real friends? They exist.
I mean, you are in person and also real, Albert. Not like I met you through the void.
Didn't you though?
No.
No, you didn't. I don't know. I just wanted to see what you'd say.
There's nothing quite to say in response to that. I don't even know what I would say.
Maybe I'm just a figment of your imagination. This podcast doesn't really exist.
That's true.
You're just talking to
That'd be
yourself
pretty
in
crazy.
a room.
I mean, I do that like all the time anyway, so this is not anything abnormal for me.
I mean, that's pretty normal for me too, because I record myself.
Yeah, me too. That's when I started doing the YouTube, and ever since then, I just talk to myself. So thinking, it comes out.
Right.
Like, it's more weird if you like don't talk to yourself, you know? Imagine like somebody who like goes through their day and just has like static in their brain.
I'm screen recording the wrong screen.
Oh my god. This guy calls himself a professional editor. My god.
I've never called myself that. Let's just move that over to there. I'm really good at this, I promise.
Dude, you're actually smurfing it though, dude. You got the YouTube, you got the Spotify.
True.
I mean,
I have
all
no
things
idea.
considered?
I have no idea if anyone watches that Spotify. I mean, it's also been 2 episodes, so that have been released so far. I haven't checked. I don't know if there's a way for me to check that stuff. There probably is. But I'm just posting it there for future reference. But yeah, Larkin, I downloaded Civ 6.
Have you played it?
I played a tutorial. And then
I haven't played it, but I heard it was like whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw these guys playing Civ 6 the other day, and I was like, oh, I should play that. And then I thought they were playing Civ 5, so I started downloading Civ 5, and then they said that they were playing Civ 6, and I was like, that makes much more sense, because it's a newer game.
Yeah.
And then I decided to download it because I had like $10 saved on Steam. That was probably from like 7 years ago. So I had to buy the DLCs because it was a few more bucks, but overall, like less than like $12 or whatever. So all good. I downloaded the I downloaded the game, which took forever, and then I decided, or I was told to play the tutorial, which makes more sense because I still don't know how to play regular Civ, let alone the sequel.
I don't know either. I just play. And Justin's like, why are you sucking so bad? I'm like, bro, I don't know how to play. I just play. I just go around, I put some little cities down, and I have them build stuff, and I just exist.
Right.
I don't know. I hear you.
Yeah, I played until like 4 a.m. that night after I got off the call.
Damn.
I just started continuing to play, and it was just the tutorial. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting and easy. Like, it's not as bad as I thought. And then yesterday morning, I decided, you know what? I can't save the tutorial. Why do I keep continuing on this tutorial? So I started playing a real game on like the simplest difficulty. And bro, I started failing so hard. I waited so long to make my next city. It was like 2
no, you gotta get the cities up quickly. That I do know.
Usually, like, you gotta do settler like third or something, right? Like scout or whatever it's called, and then like like 1 or 2 warriors or artillery, and then you just instantly go second city. Yeah.
Yeah, I started to try and make like the actual different city-based things like walls and all of that, like the different community buildings and things. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be helpful because it's going to help grow my population and all of that, so that I'd have more advantages, and then I'll make a settler. And then I just kept putting it off forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I looked around and I was like, why does everyone have like 5 different cities? What's going on? So that was probably a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. I was also very sleep deprived yesterday, so I didn't do much else.
Civ is hard. Like I was not very good at Civ 5.
Yeah.
Even with like all the help from like Asan, I was still pretty trash.
I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing in that game.
Yeah. But if you guys start a new game, let me know, because I know you guys were already starting one. Larkin, since you don't play Civ 6, you're unimportant.
I don't play Civ 6 at all, but I was just remembering like that Civ 6 actually has serviceable multiplayer, right? Like I assume it doesn't crash when you. I assume it doesn't crash when you add more than 4 people into a lobby.
No, it's still pretty bad, but it's at least not that bad anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like the other night when we were playing, I tabbed out to like check something on Discord real quick because I have like the 2 monitors, and then it completely locked up my computer.
Oh my!
Tabbing out, and I had to like hold down the power button and.
It's still trash. No. I mean, honestly,
like got completely locked up.
Like Civ had one of the worst like how do you say, like quality of game to quality of server, or quality of multiplayer like ratios like ever seen. Like the game was great, and the multiplayer experience was so horrendous.
I agree.
Like, unplayable. I mean, even like playing with like 2 or 3 people, like it would just crash in the late game, and then the game was over and the save was corrupted. Like this is just terrible, yeah. This is a classic Alex K moment. Honestly, I am impressed he even joined the server.
Dude, so when I saw that he joined the server, I was like, all right, we're all good. He's already online.
Yeah, we're ready to roll. Lamau.
For one time, I'm actually on time.
His phone says that he's playing League of Legends, which is very funny to me.
Yeah, I saw it. No, he's in TFT, but he's not actually playing.
Right. No, I assume not, because
sorry, all one second.
Like if you just have it open. Oh, he just sent a message. Cool.
Lobby.
Okay. Yeah, he should be able to come into the call because it looks like he already has a guest tag. Did one of you do that?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Yeah, because I looked at that and I was like, I don't think this is an automatic thing. I don't know how he did this to himself.
No.
Yeah, because I was just waiting for him to join so that I could do that, but I ended up doing some editing instead, and I was like, oh, my time is gone. I made a cooking short today of me making mushrooms.
Oh.
Yeah. It was very funny because this video is like 2 months old now. Like the footage is 2 months old now, and it's a 1-minute video. So I'm going to try posting it on my YouTube channel at some point.
Post it as a short, Albert. Get all the clicks through the shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the meta now. Shorts are the YouTube meta.
It's shorts and podcasts. Come on.
Dude,
they're really promoting shorts.
You can title it Albert Makes Shrooms and don't elaborate.
That's what I was thinking. Dude, I have in that same folder, I had a video of me making mushrooms and I had a video of me making corn. And I was like, these are both foods that have innuendo associated with them. This is very funny because I just so happened to make both of those things in the same day. So,
dude, yeah, Albert's magic mushroom recipe. It's just regular ass mushrooms. They taste magical.
Sure, let's go with that. They're totally fantastic.
Excellent.
I find it funny because at the end of the short, I actually have it just on a plate, and there's just a giant slab of salmon next to it, and I'm like, I didn't tell you guys how I made that, but it's there.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. This video was about the mushrooms. Also, that I believe I made that with like pre-made. It was like pre-marinated when I bought that because I was just not feeling like making it. So I wanted to try a pre-marinated thing, but yeah, that's besides the point. I do want to make shorts and stuff. It's just so annoying because I'm like the effort for shorts is you have to screen grab the audio from your phone and then send it over to your editor, and then you have to post it. If you don't want to just make it directly within the app, which I prefer. It's more comfortable for me just to edit. So I've also been more interested in editing lately, so I might just be in a mode where I'm like, okay, I can spend a few hours editing again each week. But yeah. What's up with you guys? Anything new while we wait?
No. I saw Black Panther yesterday.
Oh, I'll see it. I'll see it later. Today. Hello, Alex. Alex 2.
Hello.
Alex, good morning. Or not. Good evening.
Good morning.
Oh my god.
Did he just wake up?
Christ.
I've been awake. I didn't just wake up. That would never be me. I would never just wake up. I'm always ready. And the light wasn't off when I joined. The light was on. That was just needed to adjust to the light, my light.
Oh my god. Dude, we got like 3 DGen sleepers in the call, and then Albert wakes up actually like at 8 a.m. every day.
Yeah, well, dude, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because of yesterday. I woke up at 10:30 because I was up super late because I played a video game for the first time in forever.
I like how that's Albert's definition of degenerate sleeping is 10:30 in the morning.
Well, because I was up until like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I would never do that. So
like
anyway.
10:30 would be early for me. Honestly, even being up at noon is early for me. But I'll do it for the podcast.
I was up until 4:30 in the morning.
Okay.
That was.
Wait a second. Wait, it's 10.
It is 10.
Yep, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. Didn't do that.
Wonderful.
But look at how locked and loaded I am.
I like the lack of glasses on your face right now. It really matches the vibe of you've been up for hours. Totally.
I think that's what's really selling right now, the fact that I did not go to sleep at all.
Oh my god. That's just how we like it. Holy shit.
But anyway, I didn't mean to veer too off course here.
No, it's
I'm
all
sure
good.
you're talking about something vitally important that I've now interrupted.
No, Alex just mentioned that the other Alex just mentioned, I don't know how to do this, that he watched Wakanda Forever last night. And I was like saying as you got on that I'm seeing it today. So yeah, that wasn't a hugely vital piece of conversation. We literally just shifted to that. And Larkin has no idea how to add to that conversation anyway. So
I love Wakanda.
I heard stuff about that movie. I'm interested to hear at some point what you think about it, Albert, because it's a cool, like, I don't know. It's the director of that movie had an interesting problem to solve because of Chadwick Boseman's death. So it's kind of cool how they chose to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm curious about what they're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting. I've tried to limit any exposure to anything relating to
Albert didn't see it already. We can't even discuss it on the podcast now. We have to wait till next week.
I mean, my video will probably come out tomorrow.
To be clear, I haven't watched it, so you can't get spoilers from me. I haven't watched it. Okay. I don't know anything.
But yeah. Larkin, you ready to jump into it?
What the fuck? Literally, I'm about to go for a bite.
Hey, oh wait,
I
should get my glasses on before I.
Okay.
We're so prepared for this one, like it's crazy. I've been preparing for generations for this moment. Holy shit.
Guy. This is what preparedness looks like.
That's what I was waiting for. I mean, you just needed your glasses. That's all you needed.
Oh my god. Alex, when was the last time you got a haircut, bro?
Oh my god.
Wait, was your hair short last time I saw you? I don't remember when that was, by the way.
No,
while, but
well, my hair has never ever been short. Well, actually, no, that is true.
That's
not
true.
short, not like short, not like super short, but like it was
You
not this.
you saw me when it was like the shortest it's been in a while, but now now a haircut is imminently needed. You're absolutely right.
I haven't had a haircut since graduation this year. So
Yeah, but your hair looks good.
does it?
Yeah, you're...
tell that to,
yes.
Tell that to my mother. She's
Your
like,
mom's
when you come home next week, you're getting a haircut, and I'm like, I am a grown adult. I don't think you can tell me to do that.
That's so cringe. Your hair looks so good.
Thank you.
Bro,
Mine looks like a bird's nest.
Hey man, I like the curly hair. I think it looks dope. Okay.
Dude, it gives you like a mad scientist vibe, you know?
I can see that.
It feels like you've been working on some dark project for a long time now. It's under wraps by the government, you know?
I promise I'm not doing any stoichiometry. I'm making video games.
Don't say that word to me, please.
Oh my god.
Is that graph theory? What is that from? Like, what field is that from? Like, what is stoichiometry? Where did that come from? Where is that word from?
It's
is that
graph
calculus?
theory, bro.
It is graph
theory. Yeah, you're right.
Stoichiometry.
Now I feel like you're
capping
wrong.
I'm capping you so hard.
What is
bro.
this from?
Stoichiometry is just like the unit manipulation method from like chemistry, bro. You remember? You multiply two things, you cross the units.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, graph theory is like fucking.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, stoichiometry is that thing from chemistry where you just like cancel units.
I don't remember anything I learned in a math class. Okay, I did the thing, I got the grade, and then I moved on with my life. All right,
dude, I'm getting there, bro. It just like, I don't know. It slowly leaks out of you, you know. I don't know, man. Like I follow like a bunch of like math subreddits, and like sometimes they'll post problems. And I'm just like, I could have solved this like a year ago, and already it's gone. Like,
dude,
I don't know.
I looked at problems from high school, like high school level problems on Khan Academy, because I was bored one day, and I was like, maybe I'll try doing this. And they had like a little assessment thing to figure out where you'd be in the coursework. I got like the first question I probably got, and then after that I spent like 3 or 4 questions having to look up how to do them, and I was like, I don't know. I don't recall.
Yeah, I mean, all those like integral tricks or whatever, like it's all gone. But you know, that's not like the important stuff. It's just like the concepts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. It is what it is.
Well, I can react.
What the fuck was that?
I can react with Golden Larv. Okay.
How are you doing that, bro?
I have some. Literally, a rando on Valorant gifted me a month of Discord Nitro.
Oh my god, bro.
Okay.
Dude,
so now I can react. Anyway, we should start.
Yes.
Okay, are we? Yeah.
We've been recording this whole time, but you know, Larkin.
I knew it. I knew I was getting pranked. Okay, yeah, we got to intro this man. Right up here.
Well, Larkin, we've been recording since before I was recording the wrong screen. Like I was already recording then.
So I'm just getting turbo pranked. All right. Anyway, yeah. So we have a very special guest here today.
Wait, this isn't the intro. Hold on.
What, dude? What? The intro. Literally, I'm pretty sure. Albert's gonna post this video, and it's gonna have started like 5 minutes ago, and we're getting pranked. So
it's been 20 minutes.
I thought.
You've been recording for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We've been podcasting. This is what we've been podcasting.
Dude, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. Anyway, yeah, for the people watching, very special guest Alex, the second Alex in a group of 4, which is highly inconvenient. But he's a longtime friend. He's kind of a philosopher. He's definitely got the philosopher aesthetic going right now.
The hair.
And he's a game designer at Riot Games, which is pretty cool, if you say so myself. So yeah, Alex, welcome to the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so awake at 10 a.m.
You look aesthetic, I gotta say. Really,
the aesthetic is a blank room, a jail cell, a psych ward, and my fluffy hair.
Oh my god. Well,
hey,
we're
man,
happy to have you.
I have a similar background. It's pretty blank behind me.
That's true. That's true.
I'm the only one with like, not a completely blank
Right.
background.
Yeah, Alex is the only one with like an actual decorated room. I've just got like
Yeah.
white walls.
Right.
That is
Alex
true.
is literally a prison ward. Like
That is true. Alex, out of the three of us, Alex is the only one that looks like he like isn't institutionalized somewhere.
Yeah.
That was a great description.
Oh my god.
Okay. I guess what we could start with, Alex, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people watching at home? Who are you? What is it that makes you Alex Kagasian? You know, who exactly are you?
There's a few things that make me Alex Kagasian. I couldn't have gotten a better intro from our very own Larkin, so you already do know a lot about me.
Really nailed it.
I guess it's worth saying that my background is in philosophy. I studied philosophy formally, academically, and then I started getting pretty good at Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game that is honestly ridiculously popular. It really needs no introduction. Everybody knows about it. And then I ended up getting an internship at Riot Games, which was kind of crazy nuts. And then I eventually got the full-time job and moved out here to sunny Santa Monica. And I now am a game designer on Teamfight Tactics, which is different games, same company. And it's been a wild ride to get here. Game design, I would say, uses some of the skills that I've developed in learning philosophy, but largely it's a completely separate discipline. There's so many things about it that are extremely unrelated to philosophy and also so much more practical than philosophy taught me how to do. So that's what I'm learning now. Like waking up at 10 a.m. would be a good example of practical skill that's good for game design. One I have.
Alex, what hour of the day do you show up to work? Because you live like close, right? It's like I don't know what your commute is like, but I mean,
the hour at which I show up at work kind of changes with the tides a little bit. I'm not on like an actual cadence with that.
Do you not have meetings and things that you need to attend?
I do. Hold on. I do.
Do you actually attend them?
Yes. Most. I do.
I'm not very confident
yet. It sounds like you're not too sure about that.
I do. I mean,
as your lawyer, you're not obliged to answer any of these questions. You have not been sworn into law.
I do attend meetings. I think where I can leave that is if I did not attend a certain percentage of the meetings to which I was invited, I would not still be working at Riot Games. I think that percentage would have low because Riot is very relaxed about that kind of thing, which has been a blessing for me who is incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
But on the whole, I am present enough that people consider me a coworker.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. We're clearing those boundaries. Holy shit. Wait, Alex, how can you elaborate more on like the Riot Games like vibe? Like, how is it working with your coworkers? Like, what are they like? Are they cliche Californians? If you know what I'm saying.
Not really. It's kind of interesting because like Riot is such a bubble within like the greater Santa Monica area, the greater Los Angeles area. Like Riot people come from like all different states because Riot requires people to be on campus. So it's like it's just like a lot of people, most of whom come from out of state anyway. So I feel like I haven't gotten a good sense of what LA is actually like because I spend so much time at Riot Games. But it is it's a nice experience to like be around people that are so passionate and so smart, but smart in such different ways. And also, I mean, to an extent, because people come from so many different backgrounds, it's like there's a lot of different perspectives. There are some super young people. Obviously, I'm only 22, but there are some people that have been in the gaming industry for like ever. There's some like honestly legendary figures in game design. There's some people like me who nobody knows. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I would say the vibe is. The culture is very it's just a bunch of passionate people being go getters. It's like a weird mix between a startup and like a really big company because they're learning how to actually do the big company part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's cool. That's cool.
So what does being like a designer entail? Because like I've been looking into that. Like I'm doing like a lot. I studied game programming and stuff. I think design and programming is like different things. Like because like I have people in my family. You know, like my aunt just moved out there and she's been sending me Riot game stuff for like game designer. But I've been looking at it. I'm like, I don't think this involves a lot of programming. This is not quite what I'm doing. Like, what exactly are you doing?
Yeah, well, so to an extent it does involve programming, and there are technical design positions which it sort of exist in the in between the discipline of game design and the discipline of engineering. So they're not wholly unrelated, but there is like a distinct skill which is design, and I would say what it involves is like taking a set of problems and then like coming up with kind of as many solutions as you can and trying to choose a solution that then creates the fewest problems from. That's like the easiest way to like design as a whole, like not a video standing. That's kind of what design as a whole is. Obviously, it becomes a little different when you're making video games because, like very often there isn't a right answer. Very often, like ends up being a good design is just something that everybody, when they hear it, like goes like, "Oh my god, this is really cool." So that doesn't really line up with the definition I just set up. So. But if your question is what I do like on a day-to-day, it's often like 40% thinking about stuff and then like 40% like actual kind of scripting, like programming adjacent activities, and then 20% like actually playing the game and then giving feedback.
I see. Gotcha. Very interesting.
So would you say that in part what you're doing is like taking whatever requirements you're given for like, oh, this is what generally we want the game to be, and then deciding how those things are going to be implemented? Or like, are you creating more specifics? Are you constricting it down further from like what you've been given? Or like what would you say that looks like?
So that'll probably depend on like the level of game designer that you're at. Like I would say what you just described is probably closer to what like a higher level, like a principal game designer would do. They're like more involved with talking to like higher up director type people and like seeing what the business goals are and then sculpting that into kind of like a framework for designing things. Mm-hmm. But I'm an IC. An IC is an individual contributor. I'm just a normal game designer guy. And my job is they say, Alex, we need you to design a crocodile. And I'm like, I love crocodiles. And then I come up with crocodile designs and I write them down. And then I say, look, Mom, I made crocodile designs. And they're all so for me. And they say it's career growth that I made my crocodile designs.
Wait. So who is like, who is coming up with the decision to have you make a crocodile, and why are they making that decision? Like, what gives them the authority to like say, okay, we're gonna have zoo animals in our game, and I'm gonna assign them to all my little IC minions? Who's making the executive choice?
So that's going to be different on every game. On the game I work on in particular, TFT, there is someone in charge of every set that we release, or I guess in reality, there's like a couple of game designers that are like in charge of the set, and they're given.
Is it like a rotation? Like you have different pockets on each set, and they like sort of go in a queue type of thing, or is it the entire team works on one set and then the entire team works on the next set, like etc.?
It's a number of pockets. It's a number of like pods. We call them pods. And then, wow, that was deep. That was a deep cut.
That was profound. Anyway,
and so basically the higher up you go in the kind of like design hierarchy, like the closer you are to the business goals, but the farther you are from the actual content being made. So the person that's like in charge of the set is going to be able to like define things about the trait structure and make final calls, but then that also means they have to like they have to take in designs from ICs and make sure that those take up a majority of what the set is, so they're not doing as much IC work. And then above that would be something like, I don't know, a design director or something, and they're like certainly not on the granular level. They approve everything, but then they give advice, but at the end of the day, they're probably not going to like outright solve the problem for you, if there is one. And so then even above that, there's like the game director rather than the design director, and he's like working on the business goals that are like way up there. So anyway, you get the vibe. Yeah.
Right.
So basically how I understand it is like you have your design director who tells you design like the crocodile. You design the crocodile, you go back to the design director, he approves it or whatever, and then like once they approve it, then I guess it would go to like, programs to actually implement it into the game, and then you go to actually like release it, put it like in a release state. So it's like some sort of system like that is basically how I'm getting it, right?
Yeah, the chain of command is a little bit longer than that. It's like,
yeah, well, that's obviously super simplified.
I guess more specifically to answer Larkin's question, it would be something like, oh, we have like business goals that say that this country really likes animals, so we should do an animal set. And then the design director would be like, oh, this would make a really good, it would be so cool if every unit was a dragon or something, or like every unit was an animal.
Alex, don't leak all the good ideas now.
This is gold. And then the design director would confer with the set lead about what that would be. I don't know. And then we as individual contributors would learn stuff about what they had determined was like the best structural course of action based on the business goals. And that might require a bunch of crocodile designs. Anyway, long-winded answer, but
Gotcha.
Right. So I mean, it's to slightly shift the conversation. So obviously, I mean, there are, like you said, there are like business goals to make certain design decisions, and this influences the content that eventually hits the game. But as someone who's come from a League of Legends background, where a lot of these like design decisions end up being very frustrating, as I'm sure you're extremely well aware, end up being very frustrating from like a balance perspective. Where in the pipeline are balance considerations, and how heavily do they weigh in? And I guess most importantly, what I'm interested in is, are balance changes sort of pre-baked into the formula, or are they like a post-release sort of patch process?
Well, that I think like this would be true on most I feel like game dev teams in general, most live service game teams, like live balance tends to be its own discipline sometimes, or like not its own discipline, but it's its own form of design that isn't they directly interface with content production, but they aren't the same people that do the content production. So they're often like almost like they like maintain the live game while also working on final design for sets in order to make them like into a coherent experience. This is true on card games. I think League of Legends champs. I think the way that it has to work is very often you're introducing new content into an ecosystem that might not be ready for it. So you might have to change things in the ecosystem or the thing itself in order to make sure that it's well received. But I think probably the question you're most asking is like, why is League of Legends so unbalanced?
I mean, I'm not necessarily asking about League, but I'm just curious if you maybe perceive like, I mean, even just like within TFT, like if you perceive like a certain disconnect or certain like bureaucratic issues that prevents things from being perfectly balanced, because you're also very high ranked in TFT, so I'm sure you're like perceptive of certain power imbalances between different
keep in mind
games,
if you have an NDA, you don't have to answer questions.
Oh yeah. Also
because these are specific
to
your company too. So
these are not specific to my company, really. I'm answering them as agnostically as I can. I keep in mind that the
what are the ins and outs of League of Legends? Tell me. How do you decide if a character gets more powerful? Tell me right now.
the animal kingdom set is a set that exists only in the hypothetical game Shmeem Fight Schmactics.
Excellent. Okay, perfect.
But basically, I would say like, there isn't too much of a disconnect, really. I think whenever you're making a thing for a live balance game, you're gonna have like multiple modes of testing what you're making, because, and this is something that very often like non-game designers tend to forget, like very often the majority of the players of a game are not great at the game. And so
oh no, I know.
The product,
I think anybody who's played like any live action like shooter game or anything for like 5 minutes could tell you that.
I feel like you're knocking my Fortnite skills right now.
Albert, we all know you're a Fortnite prodigy, okay? You don't need to brag live on podcast.
Albert, you're the best Fortnite player I know. It's everybody else we play.
Oh,
that sucks.
Is that
our
why
squad
we
is
keep
good.
losing? Is that why we keep
our
losing?
Our squad is good. The other 96 people, terrible.
Trash.
But the what I will say is like very often when you're making a game, like if like the top 1% skill level of players is unhappy, it's like it's so few people compared to the number of people that actually play the game that sometimes the goals can't be to like exclusively delight the top 1% of players, which is somewhat harder to do, I would say, than to make something coherent and playable for like a lower skill player, which is much more important.
No, that makes sense. Like Smash Brothers has that exact same like logic applied to it too. If anyone ever plays Smash, you know, Little Mac in competitive is like the worst character by far. He's terrible. No one ever. If you play Little Mac, you're like an idiot on a competitive level. But like the reason he's so bad is in a casual scene, he's insane. Like if you don't know, if people aren't good at the game, he's like one of the best characters. So like Sakurai has like even come out and said like the whole reason he won't touch Little Mac is because he's really good for casual players, but in competitive he sucks. Like people always like buff Little Mac, and he's like, casual players already struggle way too hard against this character. That's not happening. Like so I definitely can see where you're coming from. Even just in even completely different genre and everything, the same logic applies.
Yep, everything I said is going to be true of like a lot of games in the gaming industry, and also like it's interesting. Smash is like a pseudo live balance game, so it makes sense that they run into that similar problem where something is really bad at high elos, really good at low elos, and then what do you do about that from a live balance philosophy perspective? It that exists in spades and also daily on like every video game I've ever heard.
Okay. I do want to switch gears a little bit just to talk a bit more about yourself. And so I do have a question about like the moves and stuff that you've had over the course of like the last few years, especially after high school. So I wanted to know how drastically you think you've changed since moving across country to the West Coast.
My hair got longer. That's like kind of the most substantive change. Well,
you've had long hair before.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure it's been this long before. Anyway,
so you backtrack exactly what you just said. It's the longest it's ever been, but it's been that long before potentially.
Those are two incompatible thoughts. I went to college in Massachusetts, and then after college, I moved to Rhode Island to start my internship at Riot, and obviously then I moved out here, and I grew up with you both in New York. So that's kind of my experience moving wise. I would say that the biggest move was moving to the East Coast. It's so much different. It's kind of opposite in some ways from NYC.
In what ways?
I would say that like NYC tends to be like it's got a really nice nightlife. It's got phenomenal public transport. It's a little grimy, a little bit dirty, LA is like really sunny all the time, and everybody's awake in the morning. And unlike NYC, everything is super like wide. Like it's not vertical at all. It's just like everything's spread out and like and earthquake proof, So yeah.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
So from architecture and weather alone, everything is completely different. And from what I've heard, the people are also very different from NYC people. But as I said before, I haven't met too many actual LA people.
That is interesting. How big is the campus then that you're on? Like, since you're mostly just exposed to people that also work for your same company.
I don't know if I can tell you that, but
okay, all right.
I'm going to Google Earth. We're finding out.
Yeah, you can go to Google Earth. You can get all the public information you want.
Gotcha.
It's yeah. There's a lot of buildings. I think I forget exactly how many writers we have now, but we do have like offices in other countries at this, which is kind of a new development, I think. But anyway, we've grown in terms of our head count.
Gotcha.
Quite a bit.
So, would you say you spend most of your leisurely time on campus, like doing things that are available there, or do you still like go out a lot? Like what?
Most people go home and like have lives.
Okay.
And I play video games and Riot games for most of my time outside of, which I was having a conversation with someone at Riot yesterday about how I shouldn't do that. They were me, I shouldn't do that.
Right.
And I'm saying, but I like to. I like to.
That is surprising, though. I will say that surprises me because you, to me, are a very outgoing person. So I would assume that you spend a lot of your time, like, because you have a very big personality. So I would assume you spend a lot of your time with people outside of work too. But is it more just you spend time online with people, or do you spend time playing video games alone? Like, how would you say that time is spent?
It's a good mix. Like I've met a lot of people at Riot. So like sometimes on the weekends I'll like play a board game or something with Riot people. That feels like a more normal use of company resources. But very often I will play games by myself. I think it like even for as like little as I try to exert myself during the work week, I feel like just the fact that there's a campus of like a lot of people like that I know is a little bit exhausting socially. Like you've felt that experience as you're starting to enter the real working world, you know. It's exhausting on its own. So there's something really nice about like going to the campus when it's really like empty and then just being able to like do all this cool stuff that there is to do at Riot without like the kind of social anxiety.
Right.
All of these fascinating, lovely people that I don't want to be weird towards.
I feel that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think that that's been perpetuated further now that we've had like the few years of just isolation? Do you think that's part of it?
No, I remember when COVID started, very little changed about my uh my daily routine.
Oh my god.
I do love people, and I think you've caught me at a good time because the reason I woke up at 4 a.m. or I went to bed at 4 a.m. Was because I went out to a bar with like my coworkers, and that was super fun because I think it's like legitimately one of the first times I've been with people like at all in a different setting other than Riot games, which has been healthy for me. We stand a healthy king.
Holy shit.
So yeah, so that was good. I found a new place. It was a cool bar. It had really loud music, and that's why my voice sounds this way. But anyway, so like I feel very often like I'm an easy to please person, and like Riot is such a lovely place that I know that the stuff that I can do there, even sometimes, and this is like the not ideal part, even sometimes when I get to like work on the weekends alone, it's just kind of fun sometimes because the thing I'm doing is an interesting thing for me. And working itself is often a fun activity when I'm doing this particular type of task. So, like, you know, everybody talks about having a good work-life balance, and maybe I do need to like establish that. But I can feel myself being so far from ever burning out. I like I don't think I would physically allow myself to get close to that point.
Gotcha.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of burnout, time management, like work-life balance is just. I mean, they're like general pieces of life advice that are constructed based on the average person's experience. But the end goal is always just to make sure you're in a good spot mentally, right? And who knows that better than yourself, obviously. So, I mean, yeah, I think if you internally understand that, then more
Right.
power to you, bro. Like, fuck it, like work those Sundays or whatever. Work even maybe in quotations. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious because I know for me personally, like I can live a month or two just like not interacting with people very much. But I noticed over COVID specifically that not doing that for months on end and only interacting with like, I guess only interacting with family too, but also at the same time being in a highly stressful environment because I was still in school and working. So it's just like I was either grinding or distracting myself, and then the in between time was just agitation towards like family members because they were just there. And I do notice that being like taking time out to talk to friends um, consistently has been very important for me, despite the fact that I can spend so much time alone without issue. I know that eventually it'll be like, okay, you've essentially become a reclusive human without the ability to communicate anymore, and you need to fix that. So I do know that there is like a line, and I guess I feel like that line exists for everyone, but that line can be satiated in different ways depending on who you are. So sometimes it's just an online call is enough for like pushing that back by a month, or maybe it's just a week or a day depending on who you are. And then similarly it might be you have to see someone in person and have a conversation that's just fun, and like it just, or you have to do an event with other people, whatever it is. I noticed that that is different for different people, but I do think that there is something there that has to exist because we are social animals. We can't just spend all of our time by ourselves despite how hard we try sometimes.
Yep.
And so that has been interesting to think about because different people do have different spots of where that is for them. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay.
I do absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely like. I feel it. When I feel the opposite as well. It goes both ways. Like after it's like what Alex was talking about earlier. Like after working, constantly in the face of other people, talking to them all day long. Um, Sometimes for whatever reason, like the only thing you want to do is be alone and just sort of be able to hear yourself think. Like it's a big thing. It's sort of
I
center
do
yourself.
love my alone time.
But yeah, but at the same time, like yeah, after too much, like after a long weekend, if I didn't have anything planned that weekend and I haven't talked to like another soul except for like the guy at the deli, then seeing coworkers on Monday morning is a welcome sight. So yeah, it does seem to be this weird ebb and flow, and I think some people just it varies from person to person, and some people have a more well-adjusted median than others for like sort of a 9 to 5, 5 days a week setup.
Right.
Me personally, I think it's pretty well done. Although I would say almost my tolerance for people is almost maybe perhaps too low because by the time I get to Thursday or Friday, I'm already like maybe burnout isn't quite the right word because I don't feel like it's a long-term sustained thing, but I'm really just not in the mood to talk to people. Like my coworkers are
Right.
like, "Hey man, you want to go get some lunch?" I'm like, "Nah man, I'll go later, bro." Like,
Yeah.
I need a break. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
that makes
It's hard to
sense.
strike that balance, and forcing it is never the right idea either. I don't think.
Right.
I
No.
don't know.
Yeah, you
Um,
shouldn't just have a quota of what you need to do each week, pretty much. Because,
right.
like, I know when I haven't talked to people for a very long time, like sometimes I'll make a list of people that I want to call, and if I get to everyone on the list over the course of like the next month or something, like that's cool. But if not, it's like okay, I got through to the people that I wanted to, and maybe that list changes and things change as well. Like maybe I don't need to talk to someone, or maybe I just want to be by myself more, right? It really does depend. What I will say about like the workforce aspect of it, I've had, this is the first time where I'm working fully remote at a full-time job for this long, right? Um, Previously, I've had internships where I had to be in person, the full day plus like travel times, and I know I hate commutes, but the actual in-person time very quickly can become like hellish in the sense that you're like, okay, I'm stuck here in this little spot, this little seat for the next 8 hours, and you have that interaction with other people, but depending on what's at the forefront of your mind, that interaction can either just be another like shackle in those moments, or it can be something that's actually very enjoyable. So what I am excited for right now is when we switch over to actually having a spot to go and work in person, it's not going to be a thing where we have to go in every day. It's still going to be mostly remote. But I think that is going to make me look forward to those in-person moments more, as opposed to just being like, okay, I have to interact with people regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of whether or not I just want to focus on work, or I just need a little bit more time to be within my own head, within my own thoughts. So I definitely think that it really depends on the structure of how those interactions are. I do think there needs to be some level of consistency at times, because sometimes if you're in a bad mood, you still need to be around other people despite maybe the forefront of your mind saying, nah, I just want to be alone, because sometimes just being around other people will help. And sometimes it's like, nah, fuck that, I just want to be by myself for like the entire weekend or whatever, and that's just what I need. But it's hard to gauge that in the moment too sometimes.
That makes a lot of sense. I when I started at Riot, I was working remotely, and it was like kind of a fascinating experience to try to build those relationships remotely. There was kind of an upside and a downside. The downside was that obviously, like, it's easier to actually build a professional relationship with someone when you're in person. But the upside was that, like, I didn't get this overwhelmed feeling that we're talking about, because like all of my professional self was like something I could just put on for a computer screen. And then when I walk away, I don't feel like I'm encumbered by professional expectations anymore immediately upon walking away. But it's something I'm noticing, that like the fact that there's an actual physical space that I can be in is now changing the way that I'm thinking about things a little bit, which is not the best. That's certainly, if there's a downside, that is a downside.
Right.
You find like, okay, so, well, actually, I'll go personal anecdote first, and then question. Since I started going into the Google office 5 days a week, I find that towards the end of the week, that at the start, the difference in my thought patterns between the start of the week and the end of the week are maybe slightly different. Like the way I will talk to myself, I'll find like certain, like, say, more business-like phrases, like, filtering into my thought patterns by the end of the week. And obviously part of that is just the human experience, like you inevitably absorb sort of the language around you and whatnot. But I wonder if you feel the same way, where I feel like, a bit by the end of the week, I've been consuming some of the Kool-Aid, and then, and then, I get a weekend to reset mentally and sort of hit my normal self again. And I feel like this pattern I consistently catch myself in this pattern, with, with, or yeah, it's a remarkable amount of consistency. How every week it seems like by the end I'm just a slightly different person, and I slowly fall back to reset. I don't know if you feel this way at all, but I've definitely caught myself more than once, like restructuring my brain back to a sense of sanity.
Yeah, I think like that's a fascinating question, because I feel like I don't have that resetting function, which is scary. But I think more accurately, I'm like, and I felt this way for a while, even when I was working remotely, like that it would be nice to like to come up with the version of Alex that I feel comfortable using in every single context, or like, or just not making from my end, making the masks not feel so distinct from one another, like just trying to like slowly. And so like I think in general, like I now do use more industry terms in my normal speech, but then I mean, the nice thing about working at Riot is that it is just a bunch of like weird gaming friends like me. So
Yeah.
very often, like so much of my just normal personality that I would use with friends, I can port over to um, my professional self. I feel like it was kind of a culture shock in a different direction because I was so used to um, like the kind of philosophy academia approach of being like a good student and like a or a good student. I don't think I was capable of being a good student. Being like a passionate philosophy student and
Right.
like specifically showing my devotion to that looks much different than showing a devotion to video games. And so, especially because I was slated to go to law school, which never ended up happening. Like law would have required a lot more of me in that regard. Where like I'm kind of like a court requires a very specific, strict performance um, I'm now not expected to do. So I feel like now that that part of my life has kind of faded away a little bit, I'm noticing that um, I think specifically I'm losing that part of myself a little bit, like the part of myself that is excited to talk about philosophy and likes to learn new words, like that part of me, like I haven't needed to write something in a really long time, like write a manuscript or
Absolutely.
something.
Absolutely.
So like I would say that's the main shift I'm noticing in trying to consolidate my personality into something I feel comfortable assuming in every position. I'm noticing that there are fewer and fewer spaces for philosophy when I'm talking to people, you know, which is sad. It's a sad reality, but it's growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have something to add here. So, in regards to the idea of like the outside world almost like altering your internal thoughts, right? I think that happens regardless of if it's like just the people that you're surrounding yourself in versus like if you're consuming a lot of information in general. So that I've seen a lot in regard to just TV shows. If I watch a lot of a show, I'll see myself changing my diction a little bit so that it matches some of the ways that certain
Absolutely.
characters talk. Same thing
Absolutely.
with just like watching YouTube clips from people talking about different either political perspectives or whatever it is, right? Because you hear these arguments over and over again because say like YouTube algorithms or like different algorithms provide you similar information in like droves, right? They provide you the same thing over and over again. So once you allow yourself to see something so many times, possibly because you want an answer to something or you're just interested in a topic or whatever it is, you notice your thoughts sometimes fall almost directly in line with what you've just been almost spoon fed, right? And if you do that often enough, you'll realize that your thoughts become so malleable, so that like as soon as you hear the opposing argument a few times, then you're like, wait, now I think this. And like I've definitely had those moments where I'm like, okay, I've heard this person speak a billion times, I understand and agree with everything that they're saying, and then you start hearing someone else because for whatever reason the algorithm decides, all right, now let's like look at this other person, and they don't agree with everything directly, or maybe they're completely opposed, and then your perspective completely shifts, and you take a step back after like maybe a month of this, right? Who knows how long this has been happening, and you're like, where are my actual thoughts? How do they wax and wane so drastically depending on what I've inputted into my brain? And I mean, it's almost like how you would think of any like a neural net, right? Like in computer science, or even just like a machine in general. Like you program it to do something and you teach it to do a certain act, but then you start providing it completely opposing or different viewpoints, and then you either just get it confused or you're like, it'll shift its behavior in some way, shape, or form that you can't necessarily predict. And sometimes it's like, as humans, we have to take a step back and be like, all right, we have to parse through this. We have to actually think about it and digest what's going on, and not just be like, all right, this is the most recent information. We're going to take that as truth or the way we need to speak, or we're just going to pull from that as our source of knowledge. We just have to actually step back and be like, all right, what do we actually want? What do we actually think? What's actually going to be provided the most importance? That's just, it's difficult to create that distinction in your head in the moment.
I want to preempt what I'm about to say by saying that I understand the irony that my follow-up thought is going to be something that a streamer said. But
okay.
A streamer that I watched said, and I, for what it's worth, I don't know how true this is, but I thought it was interesting. Like the way that people come up with like models for what is true involves first hearing an opinion and then taking on that opinion and like arguing for it in like a discussion of some sort. Like they try to defend it against scrutiny from others. And that process of kind of like outwardly like expressing the opinion that you heard is like the process of you actually learning to believe in it. Like you're kind of like sometimes I could imagine that we do this somewhat unconsciously if it's true. Like we take on an opinion, we like express it in a context, not knowing that we're testing it out. And then, you know, obviously if the argument goes well and we feel like we convinced someone or we feel like there was alignment, then maybe we think it's a good opinion to have. But if there wasn't, then we're like, all right, back to the drawing board. There's got to be a good version of this take. There's got to be a hot version of this take. Hot takes are bad. Cold takes are good. Cold takes are bad. There's no term for that. Anyway.
It also does feel, and I kind of have this feeling that there's a bit of sunk cost fallacy in play when you state an opinion for the first time. Because of course we float in our brains all the time so many varying opinions on varying controversial subjects, and we don't really acknowledge their validity internally until the exact same discussion comes up in a social setting, and suddenly you're posed to give an opinion, and for whatever random reason you decide to pick some arbitrary, slightly controversial opinion that you haven't fully thought through, but you know, maybe it seems reasonable, and then suddenly, you know, 20 minutes later, where the same conversation comes up again, they're like, "Oh, well, Larkin, you said that," and you're like, "Well, yeah, of course I did, because I believe it fully, and I would never be wrong."
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're labeled with that, and you know, untangling in your mind that you are representing a different person to the public than you are to yourself because you somehow committed to this discussion without fully considering the consequences is extremely difficult and very mentally taxing. And usually I think we skip the bullshit and just go straight to, oh well, I guess I didn't think this fully through, but now I have to defend it to the death. I see this pattern occur so often, especially in particularly heated discussions where it's like, I know in like political situations where it's like, I know something is wrong here. Take any like, you know, major political discussion right now. It's very contentious. Gun rights, abortion, whatever it is, right? You pick your poison. You know something's wrong and you want to fix the problem, and you got into a very heated discussion and you're not quite sure why you're defending it, but here we are.
Right. It's the emotional defense.
I don't know.
It's an emotional
it is
defense.
precisely the emotional defense, and it's very much a sunk cost in that, you know, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the fence in like a moral argument that's very public.
Right.
The stakes are very high, so instead you can always double down because proving that there is one right answer is very difficult.
I will say it also kind of has to do with the things that we've talking about. Also, kind of has to do with the idea that you are the sum of like the 5 closest friends that you have. I think that extends further to the content that you consume as well. So, like what I was saying about like the shows and the opinions that you listen to, I think that also counts, right? And I believe that in regards to Larkin, what you were talking about with the emotional defense type of idea, when you hear these things from sources that you trust, be it friends or content that you're watching online through like maybe a political debate, just a philosophical debate, whatever it is, and you have given that person some authority because maybe you've listened to them a few times, maybe you're close friends with them, you've known them for a long time, you give them that authority of like this thing has value because I know this person, and you have that emotional tie to that too, and as a result you end up defending thoughts sometimes that aren't fully thought through, or even if they are thought through, if they get refuted in front of you, you don't always take that with the logic associated with it. You think of it as a personal attack at that point, and so you can no longer actually have the conversation. It's just you have to defend this until you die because of whatever that emotional tie was, because those are the closest things that you associate with the people that you hold most dear, or the people that you consider mentors in some way, or whatever it is. Like you have that emotional tie, and that forces you to hold on to that, mostly due to fear.
Yeah, I think like there's a sense of like informational authority that you give to certain people. For, I mean, you mentioned friends. Obviously, that authority comes through trust and through which you build up over a long-term relationship. But the same perspective can exist when you are a student with a teacher, with a professor, or when you are an employee with, say, your boss, and you're trying to learn in an environment which you aren't, fully familiar with, and they present a new opinion, a new perspective, a new idea, a new strategy. It could be in any form, which initially feels kind of wrong. Intuitively, it feels like there's an issue. But when they say that their opinion or perspective or idea or strategy is correct, your brain, instead of interpreting the misalignment between your intuition and what they are telling you is true as as like a moral issue or as something being incorrect, you interpret it as you lacking experience, or you lacking or you lacking some sort of understanding or some sort of calculation that would have led you to the right conclusion. And so you blindly trust because it's natural, because as a human being you want to learn, and who better to learn than from someone you've vested with authority. But of course that becomes so dangerous when, there are a billion examples throughout history where this is the case, but it can also happen on a personal level as well, where you really trust your friend, you're trying to get into something new, whether it's a topic in politics, whether it's a video game, whatever you're trying to learn. It could be something very arbitrary. They give you this new idea, and you just take it at face value, and suddenly it's part of your identity. And it'll frame things as you go ahead in the future, and it can have very far-lasting ramifications. But the reason why you believe this idea or concept or have it so close to your personality in the first place is kind of arbitrary. You just trusted your friend. Right? So
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's a very easy. It's a snowballing sort of problem where trust or authority can quickly lead to frankly to long-term damage and with someone's psyche if they at the beginning of that leash they decide to take the wrong idea from someone they trust.
Yeah. I feel like there are ways to conduct discourse to surgically disassemble these ideas from people. These ones that people are holding for reasons that are much more arbitrary than they think they are.
Yeah.
And it involves kind of both parties acting kind of in good faith. The party that needs to like get rid of an opinion has to be at all willing to disavow that opinion. Like there has to be something within them that's ready to disavow it, or else it's kind of like they're never gonna like actually engage with this process. And I think the person that's talking to them has to confront the opinion but not subtly imply that they are then kind of like the the paragon of the type of person that believes in this kind of thing. You know, like they have to separate the person with whom they're talking from the idea that they're trying to like get out of them, and like talking about the idea more abstractly, and then like kind of affording them the space to begin the process of like 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 hearing your arguments without feeling personally attacked, which is hard. It's hard to actually pull that off because most people will feel personally attacked if you attack their opinions.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you also like reach the situation where some ideas can become so some. I don't even want to say ideas. I want to say patterns. Some like cognitive patterns can become so deeply ingrained from so many years of hearing these or encountering these same sort of patterns in different contexts, whether that's say you're one of your parents had like a strange out of the box idea, but you sort of internalized that, and then over time you built up like a series of examples in your head as you grow up that demonstrate this idea. This is very common, but it can also be true of your friends. They keep showing you XYZ situations where say the Republicans are screwing you, whatever.
Right.
It's kind of arbitrary, but basically you can build up sort of this lexicon of examples as to where this faulty logic, this faulty reasoning uh, works, and then it can take the same amount of effort to try to tear that reasoning back down. And I think that honestly, that's one of the big reasons why certain political discussions today are so difficult, is that over many, many years, people have built up these very rich catalogs of examples or patterns or ideas that are very deeply ingrained and are extremely abstract. And trying to dig through all these examples and all these counterpoints, which are really just facades of one improper pattern, to actually get to the root of the cause, takes A, way too much energy, B, way too much time, and C, way too much of like a detailed sort of diagnosis to actually get there, and we end up with people who are arguing with a different set of axioms.
I mean, what I will
And of course,
say,
that's inefficient. Yeah.
it's easier to take someone else's conclusion and then create a framework around that conclusion with the premise that that conclusion is true. So, for example, if you
Yeah.
have observed something, say for example like a stereotype, right? You observe a stereotype just based off of your experiences with like a certain group of individuals, and then you say that that is your conclusion, and then you provide that conclusion to other people, and then they'll start seeing that as the basis of the framework, and the outliers, or the people that don't fall under that category, become the outliers as opposed to the actual rule instead, right? And that's much easier to do when you're just spoon-fed a conclusion, right? As opposed to taking that conclusion and seeing, well, what are the alternatives to this? Is this completely true? Or is this just a subset of what happened? Like things like that, right? Actually actively questioning the things that you're told, it's difficult. It's very difficult, especially since we are provided with so much information now, and it's so easy to compound the information that you're given because of the algorithms that are currently in place, especially, right? But even just like the people you surround yourself with typically have similar viewpoints and stuff like that. So you have echo chambers, you have algorithms that feed you consistently similar information. And so from those perspectives, I think now more than ever, it's very easy to not question and just take whatever you've been given as fact, and then use the information that you're given from there to compound that, because the ability to get opposing information when you've already fallen down one rabbit hole is much more difficult, because the alternative is just passive consumption. And most people, and I would say most people, like 95% of the time, are going to go with the easier route of finding information as opposed to the path of actively questioning what you're given, because it's more effort and we have things to do, right? You got work, you're tired at the end of the day. You're not going to be like, okay, I heard this information. Why don't I spend the next hour actively looking for potential examples that conflict with that, or trying to figure out what's actually true, what's not, stuff like that. It's more difficult. And if you've spent 8 hours a day, 5 days a week working, or maybe more, depending on what situation you're in, you just want to kick your feet back and relax sometimes. You don't want to be so active all the time. So it causes a huge difficulty, especially with the current framework of the world.
And I feel like very often there doesn't exist information that could either support or refute a certain opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like, to what you said earlier, I feel like sometimes developing an opinion based on what you want the conclusion to be can be a good thing. Because when like a topic doesn't have like actual data that, you know, like if it's something really abstract, like how should we think about beauty, for example, something like that, like how should we think about beauty, there really isn't data for that. There's data that could then lead you into a bad direction if you looked at it. But I think with questions like that involve like societal concepts that started as societal concepts that you want to reform, like starting from like, hey, how does it feel when somebody says this about like how does it feel when somebody says beauty only looks like this, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Like starting from a conclusion of like, oh, you're like, that sounds exclusionary to me, and then working back from there and being like, oh, maybe that means I feel like we need to widen our view of what can be beautiful, you know, stuff like that. I feel like there is a healthy way to go about that process where you notice opinions, and then those opinions take the form of conclusions about the world that you then work back from to form a model of thinking about things. So I don't know that is an inherently bad process, but I think it is something we do very often.
Right. Anyway, how about we switch gears a little bit, because this has been a very
deep conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
We really went deep in the tank there, yeah.
Yeah, it was such a subtle and small aspect of the human experience.
Right.
We just honed in on for so long.
Talking about rabbit holes, that was one we just went down.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
Rabbit holes.
Wait,
what? Is that what you were talking about before? Oh no.
What?
Albert was mentioning
I mentioned rabbit holes.
Mentioned how the rabbit holes of like social media with the algorithms and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
What I'm gonna do next is like a couple of quick would you rathers.
Let's go rapid fire
questions. There's only 4 of them, but there's one that, funnily enough, has a rabbit involved. These are some kind of weird / zany questions, because it was like 11 o'clock last night and I was a bit like exhausted. Okay. So we'll see how these go. Okay.
Here we
I
go.
hope you guys laugh at this first one. Okay.
Exhausted elf.
Would you rather let a tarantula sit on you for an extended period of time or break your ankle?
Wait, are tarantulas poisonous?
I'm gonna go with no.
Question.
Okay. Tarantulas
Are they?
Yeah.
You know what?
Okay, it won't bite you. I don't know. It won't bite you.
I'm taking the tarantula. Easy. Not even a question.
Really?
I hate bugs, and I'll even take the tarantula over breaking my ankle, I think.
Well, it's very important whether or not it bites you, Albert.
Okay, it's not gonna bite you. It's just like hanging out. It's just like sitting on your face. Say like.
Well, you didn't say. But the question you just said, sit on somewhere on your body for an extended period of time. I feel like that's too vague. You need to make it more specific.
All right. It's sitting on your face for an hour, and you can't do anything about it.
It won't bite me?
It's just crawling around. You know, it's like you can feel it though.
I mean, that is not pleasant. But
that is not pleasant. But if I break my ankle, that might be unpleasant for my entire life. As opposed to just an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
That might
It's
suck for my
really
entire
bad.
life.
That
'Cause
was
the bone never heals back the same way.
Wait,
So
I'm
you
curious,
might just
Albert.
have
Would you break your ankle instead?
I think so. Yeah.
As somebody who
Really?
has
What?
broken their ankle
Yeah.
before, I mean.
Yeah.
I hate bugs, and I think I'll take the tarantula over
I
breaking
had
my
a-
ankle. I'll take
I
an
had
hour
a-
of extreme discomfort for a lifetime of no discomfort. You know.
So I had a very bad sprain in high school, as
I remember.
you guys know. Um,
I do know.
and
Can we tell this story really?
we got to get through these
I feel like
questions.
I feel like I need to hear the
No,
story
no.
now. I need to hear the story now, Albert. I wasn't there for this.
But-
I came later.
Albert,
I need
what
to know the
happened?
lore behind it.
How did you break your ankle?
How did you sprain your ankle, Albert?
How did you sprain your ankle, Albert?
I don't remember. Can you refresh
You
me?
do remember. You just requested the story. 'cause
I
you
don't know.
remember.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know
just
this
forgot.
story.
I don't
like,
remember. I don't remember at all.
Long-term mental damage. It's tough. It's tough.
All right. I was in gym class, and I gotta say, I very much enjoy the sport known as badminton. Very much. It's an enjoyable
It's fun.
sport.
It's fun.
It is a fun game to
Mhm.
play. We were playing doubles this day. Yeah, we were playing doubles, and I was getting super into it because I like playing badminton. It's a fun, enjoyable ride.
You're pretty good, dude. I
Um,
remember. Yeah.
I enjoy taking it kind of seriously because it's a game that I'm actually good at and doesn't require a ton of cardio as someone with asthma. And so, I'm going hard. I'm jumping around to hit these this little birdie back and forth. And at some point, I jump into the air. I hit the birdie, doing well. And in the heat of the moment, I guess I didn't pay enough attention as to how I was landing. So I land with my left foot straight like normal. And my right foot, my ankle is like rotated, right? So then I land hard and my ankle just goes like from straight down. It just bends completely.
Fun.
And then I just go down onto the ground. And I'm like, wow, that hurt. And I try standing up and I realize I cannot stand up. So I'm like, shit, why can't I stand up? What the heck's going on? Why does my ankle hurt?
no work?
Why does my ankle hurt so much? Yes, why ankle no work? And I think I needed help to end up going to the nurse's office. And it just progressively got more and more painful. And then the nurse comes over and looks at it and she's like, yeah, you sprained your ankle. Or at least it looks like it. So then I had to go to an actual doctor to get an x-ray and everything. And the doctor eventually is just, they had to call my parents, which is kind of embarrassing. Also, just walking out of the gymnasium while everyone's playing badminton and you're just like on someone's shoulder like this.
I am not going to lie. It was so funny,
it's
man.
a little embarrassing.
It was like of all the ways to sprain your
Yeah.
ankle, like playing
It was the world's worst badminton injury.
Exactly.
It was
Of
the
course.
worst badminton injury in history.
You're still better off than me. I broke several fingers throwing a football back and forth in gym, so I'm worse off.
We never really played
Damn,
football in
that's
gym,
crazy.
so that was never
Yeah.
really an issue for
Well, I
us.
wasn't even playing football. I was being lazy and was just doing like throw the ball back and forth type thing, not even like playing. And I just went to catch it once and then just
Oh,
ripped the finger.
Oh,
that's
on.
unfortunate.
Yo, I was always scared of doing that, man. Like, oh,
It
that's
happened
so
twice.
Aren't you supposed to
Two
catch it
different
with
fingers.
your body though? Aren't you not supposed
Well,
to?
no,
just
I
catch
mean
it
if you
with your
throw it high
hands?
though, you gotta do like the
Oh.
like
you gotta grab
this.
for it. Man.
Oh,
You
like
gotta
this.
reach-
Okay,
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha. Oh, so it was like just off center, so it probably just hit.
Yeah, I
your
was like off
fingers
center and then
directly.
like hit my finger. Like I broke this finger, and then a year later I broke this finger.
Gotcha.
Dude, yikes.
It happened
Does
twice.
your finger have a
Whoa.
wobble on it?
Yeah. So you look where's
Interesting.
where's the camera?
Oh.
Huh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay.
'Cause I didn't realize I broke it. I thought I just heard it. And then a couple
Oh.
months later, I looked at it and I was like, "That doesn't look right." I don't think it's supposed
Oh
to be
my
bent like that.
god.
And then I went to, and they went, "Oh yeah, you broke it." And I was like, "Oh okay." The second time though, I was more prepared. I went to the doctor, so my pinky's not like
Mhm.
messed up because I was actually suspected I broke it that time.
Right.
But except now, my pinky, when it gets like cold outside, my pinky just really hurts really bad.
Huh.
It's never been the same since I broke it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the worst part
Wow.
though was definitely coming back to the gym the next week or whatever, the next class with crutches and just looking at my gym teacher and just him smirking, because Mr. Layton was just like, what are you doing, man? And yeah,
Dude, iconic. Oh
Dude,
my god.
I can't.
Mr. Layton
Anyway.
was a funny dude,
Oh, yeah.
but he was definitely a little smug sometimes. And in that
I don't-
moment, his smile was, it cut deep. It cut deep.
I don't remember that gym teacher.
Oh my
Mr.
god.
Layton,
I
well,
remember
we had him for
He was-
track
he
and
was so-
field in 8th grade
Oh.
as well when I did that. He also looked at me funny because I was always at the end of the line for track and field because I was dying from my asthma every time.
yeah.
But it's okay. I think he likes people a lot more when they're very physically fit and capable. And I was not that. Right, but most
Oh my God.
well, it's also kind of hypocritical because a lot of gym teachers are not very fit.
I know.
It's really funny. But anyway, moving on to the
Next, would you rather question?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the long answer of Albert would rather break his ankle.
Yes.
But why would you rather
Yes.
break your ankle if you already experienced it once? Why would you want to do it again? And it's not even a break; you sprained it. That's nowhere near as bad as a break.
Was it not that bad, or
I mean,
what's-
the doctor said that it was the worst sprain he'd ever seen in his life.
Yeah, but I think a
So-
sprain is just a muscle. Like you didn't break a bone. You specifically said break your ankle.
Yeah,
You'd
I
have
don't
to like
know.
break a bone for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'm saying that because I've never broken my ankle. But like I already have I've had issues with my ankle for a year since the sprain. So
That's precisely why I'm going to take the tarantula. I'd rather deal with that for an hour than deal with a bad ankle my whole life.
I do not like spiders. I would be terrified.
Me neither, but I'd
freaking
rather
out.
it's an hour versus the rest of my life. I'm too
Nah,
young to
bro,
have a messed up ankle.
I'm already getting like uncomfortable just like thinking about it. I can't. Cuz like pain,
Wait.
Dude, arachnophobia is real, man.
like the bigger a spider is, the more freaked out I'm going to get. Like it's not
Yeah.
And you said-
and it's a
Tarantulas
fucking
are big.
tarantula. Like no, it's not going to
on
happen.
your face. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not-
Okay, here's the problem with the question, right? Because for at least for me, like literally 100% of the fear I would feel having a tarantula on my face is will it bite me? And if I have the knowledge that it's not going to bite me, or like if I have meta knowledge that it won't bite me, then obviously even like I guess we're just reducing it to is
Okay.
the tarantula
It might
pain.
poop on you. It might I don't know, it might lay its eggs. I don't know,
Oh
man.
no, please stop.
No, stop.
Stop.
Dude,
Stop.
Dude,
If it's,
I
a male, if it's like a male tarantula who just recently defecated and will not bite on me, I will do it for an hour. Those are my stipulations.
Well, we didn't say all that. I mean, I
I
mean,
mean-
look, your nose is nice and warm. It might
But like
lay some eggs.
a spider doesn't clean its
Not-
butt.
it's a male one,
It
though.
could still have a trail on your face.
Yeah,
That-
true. Oh, what if it uses you to
Great
wipe,
point.
bro? You said it just recently went, right? So it's gotta like it's gotta
Recently
take
went
care of
and
business.
wiped.
Oh, okay. This is so.
The
Wait. So
stipulations here.
you want the smartest tarantula in the world on your face?
I mean, maybe it just grinds. Its
I just want a
spikes.
tarantula
Yes.
that's not gonna lay eggs, not gonna crap on me, and not gonna bite me, and I'll do it over breaking my ankle.
I mean, see, the question changes though if it's a squirrel. I wouldn't have an issue with a squirrel on my face.
I would have an issue with a
What?
squirrel on my
What?
face. I'd have
I would
way
have
more
a-
issue with a squirrel over a
Yeah,
tarantula.
same,
I
yeah.
promise you that would be more unpleasant.
That would be way worse than a tarantula on your face, a squirrel.
Dude,
100%.
okay, squirrels have like sharp claws, by the way, to climb up trees. They could scratch your face
Dude,
up, bro. They can make you
That's
bleed.
some.
Okay.
that's some
Wait.
They can carry
1984
rabies.
shit.
No. Okay. If the tarantula can't bite you, the squirrel also can't scratch you. Okay. Like it's not
This
gonna.
tarantula.
You're
not gonna-
this-
you're
How
not
is
gonna
it
get
gonna
hurt.
climb on your face?
It's just gonna sit on you. I don't know. Like it's gonna sit and like walk on its
About poop?
bipedal feet. I
And
don't know.
defecate? Like,
It's gonna work.
Yeah.
No, the squirrel's way worse than tarantula. You're not gonna win this argument.
yeah.
I don't know.
Your fear of tarantulas is holding you back.
Dude. I think
Really
it's-
is.
From the light.
this is interesting though, because I feel like human beings naturally have less fear of mammals and bipedal, like creatures with 4 appendages as opposed to more
That's
than that.
true.
So I
That's
think it's
true.
partially just that, where I'm like I find
Don't-
that more of a thing. But
don't zoom out. Don't zoom out like you're making a grand point. You lose this argument. Having a squirrel on your face is so ridiculously weird.
All right,
Whereas
all right,
a
moving
tarantula
on.
is like
Moving
the
on.
size to fit on your face.
Moving on. The next one.
Albert, you lost. It's
The
over.
next one is: would you rather eat a stranger's pet rabbit, or never eat your top 5 favorite foods ever again?
Eat the stranger's pet rabbit. It's just
Yo,
all the
Dude,
time.
people actually
Yeah,
eat
people
rabbit.
eat rabbit all the time.
Yo,
That's a
I
normal
cook
thing.
that shit up for the 4 of us. You know, we can have
Okay.
a little,
A
Yeah.
stranger.
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
BBQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's an easy one, Albert.
Cool,
that one
cool,
was
cool.
way too easy.
All right.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna have to change it. What if it's your friend's rabbit?
I don't care. I'll still do it.
Yum
Yeah,
yum.
I would,
You know what
I
I'm
would
saying?
Yum,
still
yum.
Well,
Wait.
Actually,
Do we have consent from the friend to eat the rabbit?
No, you're just taking their rabbit.
So I'm killing the rabbit and eating it.
Yeah. You were just very
I'll
hungry
do
that
it.
day, man. Like you
Wait.
you
So
didn't
can
want to
I-
go to the store.
How can I execute this plan? Do I have to like break in? Like, am I committing a crime?
All right. Well, say it's Robert's
that's a
rabbit
good
for
question.
you. Like say
It's Robert's rabbit.
Yeah.
So the rabbit just goes missing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The rabbit
No.
just goes missing.
Well, go to the pet store and buy an identical rabbit, and then swap them.
Okay.
That's genius.
No way, dude. No
That is
way.
true. That is true.
There's no way.
There you go.
we
Eat the rabbit. Eating the rabbit's the only correct option here.
I mean,
I don't-
okay, you definitely have to eat the rabbit, right? Like,
Right. Okay, I agree.
You don't want your friend to get upset. Just swap
Can you
them.
imagine if you walked into the kitchen as I was skinning the rabbit, bro?
Oh.
I would be dead. Wait, bro, it's over. All right,
That-
this is sounding way more dangerous. Did you say top 5 favorite foods?
Yeah.
That's not that many foods. I feel like if I was assuming.
Yeah, but they're all your favorites.
Yeah, it's
You
your
have to eat
it's
like
your top
bottom tier
favorite foods.
trash for the rest of your life. I'm
This-
eating the rabbit.
This
I don't
is
care.
this is starting to feel like the beginning of like Crime and Punishment. I don't know if you guys know that story, but like where like the guy's contemplating whether or not he can get away with the murder. You know, like he's like, maybe life would be better afterwards, but will I be able to tolerate this? And I'm like, I don't think so, bro. I think it's
I
gonna
don't
haunt
know.
me to my grave. Like,
this might be the 5. Well, I don't know. I don't know that it would haunt me. I would be worried about about
retribution. Like,
my friend finding out, and also the process of killing a rabbit and then cooking it and eating it sounds very unpleasant.
okay, yeah, I
I
was.
would
I-
rather
as
do
someone-
that over losing my favorite foods.
As someone who has officially killed a chicken as of this year, I would say that it wouldn't be that difficult to kill an animal like a rabbit and like skin
Okay,
it.
I'm
and all
not
that. Like,
questioning the
the-
physical logistics
Well,
of killing it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, okay.
I'm just, would I be able to like
Also-
get
also-
the knife out?
I meant unalive for the people watching this. I totally meant unalive. I did not say the K word. Okay.
We've been saying kill this entire time. You say all alive once, it's not going to change anything.
Shh, it's fine. It's fine.
Albert's
The-
a murderer.
The question for Albert is now: you can't eat your top favorite foods, or you have to kill your friend and eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta.
I'm
was
giving
saying,
up my
I'm
favorite
kinda
foods.
Going down the
I
serial
am
killer
giving
path
up
here.
my favorite foods at that point. Like I can't. No.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, is anyone really
give it a
gonna
couple
find
years
out?
after he kills a
Like,
couple more animals. We ask this question.
yeah,
Larkin,
I'm
you're,
a
you're
pretty
too
big
popular
fan
to
of
just
Big Mac.
disappear.
you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Anything for the people.
Somebody that's unpopular's
Dude,
gotta
Oh
go.
my god.
It'll take the police long.
The biggest issue with it being your friend's pet, right, is that even if you get them a replacement, what happens if they give some offhanded comment like, wow, my rabbit's been really strange since like last week or whatever, and they're just like, my rabbit's never been the same. I don't know what's going on. He doesn't like the same foods. He doesn't like, he doesn't act the same. He's not as friendly, whatever. And you just keep hearing that over and over again.
You just tell
I
them,
feel no guilt.
Yeah,
I want to eat my
yeah.
top 5 favorite foods. I really don't care. It's just a rabbit.
Dude, I would cut out that friend. I could not be
Yeah,
that person's
Yeah,
friend
like
anymore.
I don't care.
It's
I'd
too
rather
much.
lose one friend than lose my top 5 favorite foods, and that probably says something about me, but it's true.
Right. No, I agree. You would have to give up the friend because you could not handle the guilt of never telling them what's going on. You couldn't do that because that continuous guilt for the rest of your life as you continue to interact with this person, that would be too much over time and you would break. But
I'm saying, bro,
if they're your friend, you have their rabbit for your meal, right? And you just move on
And then
with your
you
life.
never talk to them again.
Yeah,
Ghost them.
and over time you allow yourselves to drift apart, then it's fine. It'll suck to have lost a friend, especially if you're closer with that friend. But
I get to eat my top 5 favorite foods.
Yeah, you get to eat your top 5 favorite foods, and the guilt will disappear the less you think about it, and that friend's lack of presence in your life will alleviate that over time as well. So,
but rabbits only live for so long anyway, right? So like, eventually, like the fake rabbit will have died, the decoy will have died, and then your friend is like, oh man, I missed that rabbit. I'm sure that whatever caused him to be weird towards the midway point of his life probably caused what eventually killed him. And then eventually
like the 3-step plan. After you swap the decoy, you make a Facebook account and friend him on Facebook, and then you eat the rabbit and ghost him. And the second you see the rabbit died, you like reach out like, "Oh, bro, we haven't talked in a while. I'm sorry to hear about your rabbit." You get the friend back, you eat the rabbit, and you still get to eat your top 5 favorite foods. It's the perfect plan.
True. And then you eat the rabbit. Then you eat the rabbit again, dude. It's profit. It's a farm.
That type is just for fun, though.
Dude, you're like, oh man, I want to attend the funeral service.
but you never tell the friend. You can't tell the friend.
No, of course not.
Right. You can't. You just can't. Like, it's not
maybe
possible.
Maybe if I'm like on my deathbed and my friend is looking over me and I'm like, I have something to tell you. That I ate your rabbit. And I just die. And
I ate your rabbit. Have fun in hell. Bye.
Shit.
All
right, that was
next
Albert. Albert, that was a banger question.
That was a banger.
You
That was a
nailed it on that one.
banger.
You
That
nailed
was
it.
a banging.
This
question.
one, I feel like this one might be a little bit more lame, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm setting the bar lower. Just
Okay. Excellent.
All right, you're gonna steal $1 million or have your credit score drop below 600.
Wait.
Wow.
Am I attempting to steal? Hold on.
No.
Am I successful in stealing?
You will steal the money.
Is it like successful? I will not get caught. I will just I'm just getting $1 million.
You will be successful in your attempt. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll get caught some point down the line. You don't know, but you were successful in the attempt to steal that money. And then your credit score is just, it drops to 600.
Okay.
Right.
From whom am I stealing? A bank?
Someone with $1 million, so someone with resources, or a bank. Like
a person.
It could either be a person or a bank. It depends on.
Okay. I get to choose.
Okay, you get to choose. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
This is interesting. There's pros and cons to each option.
Yeah. See, the possibility of getting caught. I mean, if you get caught, you're jailed for life. So.
Right.
But dude, what is the recourse for the credit score one?
Just
credit score
buy a car, or like rent the house for a couple of years as you fix your credit score, I guess.
Yeah, you'd have to work hard to build it back up.
Yeah,
that might be a slightly worse.
The credit score doesn't matter to me too much. I mean, I feel like we're so young anyway. Like in 10 years, like earliest to buy a house is like 10 years from now or some shit, right? Like, I don't know. Credit score is gonna hit too hard.
I feel like
you can get that back up.
I don't even know what my credit score is right now anyway.
I don't
know. Even be around 600. Who knows? I only got a credit card a couple months ago.
Like $1 million is very tempting, but
right.
I would live in eternal fear that it's not even worth $1 million. I think.
I guess honestly, it's probably the credit score again. Yeah, for me, because it's like, I feel like the credit score is spooky for specifically like trying to rent. But I think now that I actually have a lease, I'll be able to like just get the credit score back up in time for the time I have to renew the lease, right? Isn't that the way?
Yeah. That makes sense.
They adjust somewhat quickly, but
yeah.
I mean below 600, that's like 590, bro. Like it's not. Right. I mean that's not good, but you could. It's fine. Like whatever.
Yeah. It's possible to build it up. It'll be difficult, but and it'll probably take some time. But I will say the one downside for the credit score thing is definitely like if you're renting, especially when you're trying to rent your first spot, or like beyond that, if you're trying to find somewhere new, they do take that stuff into account. But I think that the stress of potentially getting caught after stealing $1 million is so much worse. You would either like not spend any of the money to make sure like nothing ever gets trailed back to you, or like you would have to move to a country without extradition laws. And to be honest, I don't want to live in a country without extradition laws. I would like to live in a first world country that's like, you know, pretty nice to live in and with my friends and everything like that. Like I wouldn't want to give up my entire life for that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, of course, yeah.
$1 million is a lot of money. I feel like I could imagine someone taking either option.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. But it depends on like your like situation. Like if you really needed the money, like I could see it, and then you just flip the coin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
well then you just go to a country like Albert's
That's
talking.
true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
And then you start your new life.
Yeah.
Albert, do you know what countries don't have extradition laws like that?
I don't know. I've never looked it up.
To the U.S.
Let's look it up right now.
Maybe it's like Iran or something. Like.
Yeah, that's not ideal. North Korea.
Actually, wait. You think if I look this up, I'm gonna put on some type of watch list? Maybe I shouldn't look this up.
Countries don't extradite to U.S.
That's a good point.
There's 7 non-extradition countries: Morocco, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, UAE, Andorra, Qatar. Yo, wait, you could go to
Those sound
Yeah,
lit.
Hong Kong
Well,
would be
actually,
a
Hong
good
Kong?
choice.
Taiwan is great too. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
Taiwan
Taiwan's
would be. No, but Taiwan.
Taiwan's gonna
be
get invaded though.
well,
I
you know,
bet.
you
I mean,
take
Hong
that
Kong
risk.
already kind of got invaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But okay, I'm kind of concerned. China is not on this list, right? So like, if Hong Kong basically gets overtaken by China as like just centralized China, you get shipped out.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that
dude,
kinda sucks.
what's it called? Wait, actually, you can't go to like Andorra, Morocco. Just some Northern Africa vibes.
I think Morocco's a little sus.
Okay, it's definitely very sus, actually. Okay, but god damn it, there aren't very many good options here.
I think Hong Kong is honestly such a high.
I think you're gonna get shipped out, bro. I think
You're
you're
gonna
gonna
get
get
shipped
shipped
out.
out. I think China is actively taking back Hong Kong. It's just
That
like
is
part
true.
of their.
So
Taiwan might be the safer bet.
Mm-hmm.
Taiwan
yeah.
has more time, I guess.
Taiwan
Yeah.
number 1, as they say.
I know, like the U.S. has like a treaty with Taiwan that if they get invaded, the U.S. has to. So
Right.
China's not invading them anytime soon, unless they want to face the United States military.
Yeah, you might get caught up in the
Maybe
worst
Taiwan,
global conflicts in the last century, but I mean, other than
You'll be
that,
good for a couple of
cares?
years, so what does it matter?
yeah, you got a few years,
You'll
and you got
just-
$1 million, bro.
You'll just
Dude,
hop
$1 million.
over to a different extradition country when you're running out of safety.
True. Yo, you book your ticket to Morocco as they're getting invaded.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna go well.
You just have to find a direct flight so you don't land in the wrong countries.
Yeah.
In between.
Look, you keep taking vacations in 7 different countries around the world. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like who doesn't want to go to the United Arab Emirates? You know, like.
Right.
Wait, that sounds like it sucks having to go around the world. So like you don't have a home.
No, yeah, this is terrible, actually.
I'm just thinking the credit score, bro. I thought we were there to decide on that.
Yeah, it's the credit score.
$1 million,
That is
$1 million in Taiwan, or just take the credit score.
It's credit score. It's always credit score.
Credit score angle.
All right, next.
All right,
Nice
last
one.
question.
Let's go.
Would you rather go to Mars with Elon or go through another pandemic lockdown?
Pandemic, yes. Bring it on.
And it's like a full lockdown for like 3 years. Like
Yeah.
how
3
Yeah.
years.
I could
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, wait. What are the conditions of going to Mars?
You have to go with Elon
you
Musk.
just go
Yeah.
and you got to
But
stay
are we-
there.
Are we going back?
Well, we have the uncertainty as to whether or not you can come back from Mars because we
Uncertainty.
We don't know. You assume you're gonna live there the rest of your life.
What?
Am I like the first person ever to go to Mars?
Yeah, you'll be on the first ship
The
Me and
first
Elon?
ship?
or plane
Okay.
or aircraft, whatever. Spaceship.
Aircraft?
Spaceship.
Wait.
That's the word.
When you said it, wait. But when you said I'm
Spaceship.
going with Elon, is it just like me and Elon, or is it like a group of
No,
people
it's
just
the
on a
group.
ship?
It's the group of people, like whoever Elon needs to bring, like all his engineers and farmers and whatever the hell.
And then me.
Yeah, and you're there.
Okay, that would be sick. I don't really like Elon Musk, but that would be sick.
I don't like Elon Musk either.
To be on the first flight to Mars,
Mhm.
that would be sick. However, also to know, like, abandoning your friends and family,
Right.
like, I don't know.
I mean, a pandemic lockdown is not that much different from how I'm living my life right now, anyway.
But yeah,
So-
it wouldn't change much. It wouldn't.
Not like I'm leaving the house every
Yeah.
day. So
If
Interesting.
to me the question sounded like, do you want to be in a lockdown and be enclosed in your home for 3 years, or do you want to be in an enclosed space with Elon for more than 2 minutes? And that was a very easy question to answer.
home alone for 3 years.
I feel like we can rephrase this too. Would you volunteer to go on the first ever space flight to Mars
hmm
if that meant you couldn't come back and you'd have to live the rest of your life out there?
Right.
No Elon
No.
this time.
Oh, so Elon's not coming. He'll just stay on Earth.
No. Fuck
He'll
Elon
stay on Earth.
Musk.
He's
And
never-
also forget the pandemic. Just it's a permanent life decision. Like, would you go on the first ever space flight to Mars?
Okay, I will say what the benefits are.
Or
Right.
okay,
I
yeah.
will say the benefit to
What's the
me.
benefits of going to Mars?
The benefit to me is that you will always have a purpose for the rest of your life. There's no
Right.
room for like questioning your existence really, because you'll be living a hard lifestyle, and you will have to be on task, right? There's a necessity for your existence, because your purpose there is to be essentially taming a planet that is not currently hospitable to human
Yeah,
life.
You're actually like you're the Columbus or whatever.
Right.
Of,
and you're terraforming like the area, right? Your entire existence is to be one of the pioneers for the future of civilization, right? For the future of Earth. That is a fantastic potential. The downside is, well, that's extremely stressful. You're going to be in a stressful situation with people, like a small group of people for the rest of your life. Potentially, I don't know if they would also force you to, have a partner, right? They probably would for like population reasons.
yeah, let's say there's like
right?
4 or 5 people. You know, or
Yeah.
something.
So it's like you're paired up with someone as well. So all of that situation. There's the potential of hating the people that you're around, and then you're kind of stuck with those like 6 to 10 people
True.
until the next shipment of people arrives, whenever that might happen, right? And then on top of that, there is like, where's the leisurely food and activities? You don't have access to that. You won't because you're already busy with all the things you need to do. Even like the basics of that stuff won't just be present. It's going to be unlikely and far and few between, like those opportunities for just sheer enjoyment. So the same thing, it's like a double-edged sword, right? The benefit of purpose and like the necessity of your existence also comes with the lack of leisure and an easy life, right? Of like being in a first world country, right? So that is the debate that you'd have to do internally. I think ultimately I would probably choose to live here because it'd be easier. It would be an easier life.
Your
Yeah,
debate.
like I said, my life doesn't have to change much. I don't leave the house as it is. So another 3 years, screw it, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, your debate is so much different than mine, Albert. For me, it sounds like having to go to Mars and not leaving, that's a lose-lose. I have to go to Mars in the first place, and I have to stay there forever in this bad situation.
Right.
Yes, I would rather work at Riot Games, I guess.
I don't know. I'm kind of with Albert though. I don't know, dude. I feel
I would
like
probably do it if it was like.
I'm not saying I would go, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some value in being one of the first and like contributing in a significant way to like the future of humanity. I don't know. There's something very like honorable about that.
I would probably do it even if it was like like a 5-10 year trip. If I had some guarantee that eventually I would come back, I would probably do it. My whole life is like a little.
Right.
Even if it was like something like 10 years.
Right.
Like I have a whole decade on Mars.
If it was
At least
like
I know
20,
like.
Yeah.
I probably still, even if some guarantee that I'd come back, I'd probably still do it. It's like the whole for life thing.
I agree. I think that the prospect of never even potentially returning home is one of the biggest downsides to that. And I do think that there is, like Lurkin said, a huge appeal to me personally of being known for something bigger than yourself and to potentially be someone written down in history and never forgotten. I think that's something that is appealing in a sense, where it's like you're doing something very important just for your the sense of humanity, but also the vanity aspect of it. It's like it'd be cool to never die, like have your name just always known to future generations. Like that's a very cool prospect as well. Does this change? Do your answers change if the pandemic is on the level of what China has, like their pandemic situation, like their lockdown version?
That's ugly.
Or like the zero tolerance thing, like one case, everybody's in lockdown.
But think about like going
one case, your entire block gets rounded up, your entire building gets rounded up and put to a camp.
I feel like okay, like going to Mars is such like going permanently.
That's
to
a
Mars
huge commitment going to Mars.
It's such a significant life decision that like 3 years of a pandemic under almost any circumstances, like it's not like going to get tortured, right? Like is pretty much irrelevant. Okay. You know, we're talking about the next like 60, 70 years of your life, like. You know, like the 3 years of a pandemic doesn't really play into account.
We're aligned. We're aligned on that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I have a hidden extra question for you all.
Okay.
Hidden fourth one.
Secret unlocked.
Are you ready? Secret unlocked. Would you rather keep marshmallows in your mouth for 3 years, enough to fill up your mouth such that you cannot speak?
Oh.
Or have only a 25% chance of understanding people when they talk?
Is it like the same marshmallows in your mouth for all 3 years?
Yeah, it's a bit of a supernatural phenomenon.
So it's like
so
rotting.
They don't dissolve.
No. These are marshmallows that don't dissolve and don't rot.
So they're just dry, like marshmallows.
They're dry. They can soak as much saliva as they need to.
Do I need an IV? Do I need an IV to stay hydrated? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, wait a second.
You're gonna have to like nestle a feeding tube into the marshmallows. Actually, yeah, you're probably that's probably what you're gonna have to do.
What if you have a stuffy nose? You can never breathe through your mouth.
No, you got the nose. You got the nose, bro. I see.
If you have
Stuffy
a stuffy
nose, you can't breathe through the
nose.
mouth. Oh my god, dude.
You'll just die then. No, the feeding tube can double as a breathing tube.
Nice.
Those are different passageways in your throat. I don't.
You're gonna have 2 tubes, bro. You're gonna have 2 tubes.
Okay.
Two tubes.
Look. What the fuck?
I'm gonna take the understanding 25% of the time. I'm deaf in 1 year, so I'm already at like 50%. So what's the extra 25% on top of that?
That's good reasoning, honestly.
Wait, so how long is the misunderstanding lasting for? Is that forever?
That's the same 3 years. So yeah.
I'm doing that. Like I said, I'm already at 50%.
I thought it was misunderstanding for life.
Okay, I'll do that for 3 years because I can eat fucking food normally because I don't want to die. And I don't want to hate myself. And also, I'll learn sign language and just pretend to be deaf for a few years.
No. You still wouldn't understand. Like you
said 25% of any language.
Like 75% of communication is
in general.
So like if someone texts you, you might not know what they're saying?
Yeah.
You get like a couple words.
I mean, okay, but wait, how does it work though? When you say it's like 25% of the time, is it like if I read the text message 4 times, I'll get it by the 4th one? Or is it like guaranteed like only 25% of all texts I receive I can understand?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that like here's basically what happens. If somebody talks to you, or if you read something, or if you're at a crosswalk, the signage has a 25% chance of appearing normally and a 75% chance of being like really blurred beyond recognition, or like all forms of communication are like blurred and like muffled.
Oh my god. Dude, okay, honestly, I would still take that because frankly, I'm thinking about this. During the 3 years with the marshmallows and the fucking tubes in my mouth, bro, I don't want to talk to anybody anyway. Alright, I don't want people to see me like this. Like, you know? I'll just take like a hiatus from humanity for a few years. Like, you know? It's not
Yeah.
gonna change anything. At least I don't have fucking marshmallows in my mouth. Like,
Dude, you would get sick of the taste of that sugar for that long?
bro, you're gonna be you're gonna.
Is it gonna
throw
rot my
up.
teeth out? Like by month like 3, am I just gonna my teeth gonna like fall out of my mouth from being completely rotted by sugar, or are my teeth sugar proof for
These
these
are
3
like
years?
indestructible marshmallows,
these
right? So
are-
I assume they all are like.
These are mega
contained,
processed, okay? They
They're
don't dissolve.
industrial grade.
They don't dissolve.
So my teeth will be falling out of my face after a couple months, a couple weeks.
No,
whenever.
They
the,
won't.
The preservative,
No,
the
okay.
preservative from the marshmallows will then seep into your teeth, so then they don't affect your teeth either. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
That-
a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
sense.
You got
I'm
it.
still taking the communication 25% of the time.
Yeah, dude. The communication 25% of the time. This is what I would do. I would just work independently, right? For that, because I can understand what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I'll just start like, I don't know, I'll make an Instagram
That's
page,
true.
start selling artwork exclusively, making YouTube videos exclusively, just doing content creation, and then
but you need to communicate with people to be able to sell your art.
Yep.
no,
you
I
sure
don't.
do.
It's called natural growth. Okay, they'll just I'll have an online shop. All right,
What?
that's what I'll do. Okay, I'll have an online shop, and I'll just be like at the end of my videos, hey guys, please buy some art, and they'll
How are you gonna set up the shop, bro?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna have to
You don't
have to-
even know where the
time.
sign up button is. If you Google a website to like make this shop for you, you're not gonna be able to recognize any of the links.
unless you're coding it and running the server yourself.
All right.
I should be very clear. The option where you only understand people 25% of the time is also dangerous. It might not be as dangerous, but it is also dangerous.
It's pretty dangerous.
because of the fact that random language on the street.
Dude, what if somebody's like, "Yo, get out of the way!" Like a car's coming at you, and you're
Or yes.
like, "What?"
And
And then you
you're
get hit
like,
by the
"What?"
car. Yeah,
Okay.
bam.
Or
Dude,
God
I
forbid
just-
you have an allergy. Like if you have any allergies at all, you're just
Yeah.
so fucked.
Do you have any peanut allergies? What? Just eat this, man. It's great. It tastes good. Oh my god.
You just have to prepare for it beforehand. Okay.
That's
I don't
you would
know.
have-
I don't
honestly,
know, man.
no, but I'm kind of with you though. If you just did some decent preparation, I mean, you really planned out your strategy for like how you were gonna survive this episode.
Here's another question: if I pick, depending on your option, I pick, does it happen immediately, or does it have like a set start date? Like, do I get prep time for my like?
You get zero prep time.
Okay.
Like, right, literally
Zero prep
now.
Like
Oh,
literally
I was
right
gonna say,
now.
because then maybe Albert could prep his store beforehand, and then he loses the ability to communicate, and he could just exist off that. But you're saying no prep time.
Okay.
No
okay.
prep time.
When I go
Yeah,
out
you
into
could
the
just do it.
world, I will. All right.
Albert's thinking those marshmallows look pretty appealing right
What
now.
are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
It's a marshmallower.
Yeah, imagine
see,
being
'cause
such
you-
a marshmallow
You'll
guy.
need someone. I feel like you'll need someone next to you if you can't talk to people, just to like drive you places, because you can't drive anymore. You won't be able to listen to the GPS.
How will you
won't be able
communicate to
you
your
won't-
nurse
you
to
won't be
know
able
where
to
to go?
So what I'll do is I'll ask my sister. I'll be like, "Yo, this is about to happen to me. All right."
No, there's no prep time.
You
That's
have no
prep
time.
time.
It's
You
happening
can
right
talk to
now.
her.
Time.
You can talk to her. She can't talk to you. So you just tell
Oh,
her
true,
what the hell's
true,
going
true,
on.
true.
You're like, bro,
True, true.
I'm not gonna understand
True,
half the
true.
shit you're saying. Actually, 75% of what you're saying. Okay, but this is what it is. All right, I'll pay you.
So wait, is that? But I feel like communication goes both ways. Are we saying it's only when you are getting the information? Like, what if like 75% of the time you're just speaking gibberish? Like it's like at the tower.
No,
Babel,
that's
75%
changing
of
the
time you're just
situation.
speaking
He
Dutch.
said what we
No,
understand. understand.
babble.
What we understand.
That's communication.
No. We can say whatever the heck comes out in our brain.
I'm not
All
the one
right.
that created the question. You gotta ask the other Alex. Is that allowed?
Yeah, you should be asked. I want to say I think the best sentence that came out of this discussion was your simulated conversation with your sister, where you say, I'm not gonna understand half the shit you're saying. I'm actually not gonna understand 75% of the things." You have the actual statistic. You said it half the time. Anyway.
Oh my god. Oh my
What
god.
was your question?
Like, are we counting communication as here like a two-way street here? Like, where 75% of the stuff I say or try to communicate is complete gibberish, or is it just the stuff I'm getting received that is complete gibberish?
I'm gonna make the ruling that you can talk and other people will understand you and it will be coherent, but you 75% of the time you won't even understand yourself. So you'll know what you intended to say, but you don't know how you said it. Or like other people will understand you. It's only the part, whatever part of your brain governs comprehending language in any.
So I will say whatever I say correctly, but 75% of the time I'll be second guessing what I said, even though I said it correctly.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah. You'll be second guessing it. Maybe I feel like at a certain point that particular aspect of this problem that I presented you with will get like. You'll get really used to it because like you're used to.
But then it'll get confused. What if you say something that you didn't mean to say, but just like, oh, I probably just said what I meant to say. Like, what if that's the 25% that it actually was right and you said something wrong, but you just assumed you said it right?
It's because the intending to say portion of your brain is still intact. Like if you intend to say something, you will say it. You just won't be able to
your throat's motor functions are working fine. And your brain's function to think of what you want to say is fine. So
it's just like me interpreting my own voice. That's a miss.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm still taking that over the marshmallows.
Dude, wait. So if someone says the same sentence like a bunch of times in a row, are 25% of them going?
That's what I was kind of asking before with the reading the book.
So that's kind of a workaround, I think. So like, well, first of all, the book you're kind of screwed there because the way that this works is every instantiation of some piece of language, some assertion in the world, you just won't be able to parse it.
Right.
So basically,
buy 4 copies of the book.
4 copies of the book.
Yeah. So if you buy 4 copies of the book, then each copy will arbitrarily have like a sentence. But okay. Here's what I was thinking. Like, let's say someone sends you a message on Discord and you can't read it. Right? You're fucked.
Yeah.
You hit the 75%. Right? You copy and paste that shit into Notepad 100 times, and approximately 25% of those sentences are going to be readable.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So now you know.
Yep. That's a workaround.
Yeah, okay, I'm definitely taking this over the marshmallows. Okay. There's workarounds to this. There's no workarounds to the marshmallows.
Yeah, the biggest...
Well, I feel like you guys...
Well, you said I have to keep them in my mouth, right?
Yeah.
I have to keep the marshmallows in my mouth? Like, I can't eat them. More will just magically show up. Yeah. Like, it's an infinite void of marshmallows. Or...
There's a chance I could... I think part of the intention here is that you can swallow some of the marshmallows. Actually, can you swallow anything?
What?
If you're
what do you mean? Can you swallow it?
So you would need a feeding tube and a air tube, right? Either that or you're gonna walk around with an IV in your arm all day, every day.
Dude, this sounds horrible, bro. This sounds horrible.
Communication.
I will do communication all day of the week. However, right, the only issues are going to be when you're in person. If it's online and you just copy text a million times, right, one question though would be like, is it each text that is pasted, right, there's now a dice roll that's happening as to you have 1/4 likelihood, or is it if you repeat it 4 times, it's always going to appear once?
No, it's dice
roll.
roll.
It's a dice roll. It's the probability. Okay, gotcha. So sometimes it'll take longer.
But... bad. Just have them say what they want to say like 4 times. Yeah, you guarantee to get it at least
just
once.
Be like, can you write this down 4 times, please?
Or just say it. Just say like, if they won't say like, I'm going out, just make them be like, I'm going out, I'm going out, I'm going out, I'm going out, and you'll hear one of them.
Once in a while, it might take them 20 tries before you coin flip correctly.
Yeah.
Don't keep your sentences short. Then
Just
don't make a long sentence that they have to say 20 times.
Right. Well, if you're living with people, just be like, okay, guys, I have this array of bells. They all mean different things, right? So
That's still communication.
That's language.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
That's still
It's
communication.
language.
Fine.
That's
You
true.
won't be able to hear the
That's
bell.
true. That's true. Yeah, that communication's not gonna work.
You won't be able to hear the bell correctly. Also, actually, the question is then how far does language extend? Because if somebody points thing, that could be language, and like finger would be censored.
do they all get blurred out? The whole person, like
I think so. Well, yeah, I think every single form of communication, anything.
Body language is technically communication. Does that mean 75% of people are just completely blurred out of my field of view?
75% of people, or are different parts of their body blurred? Like 75% of their body.
I think it's just you don't understand what that body language is saying. Which honestly, though, I spend most of my time alone. I'm not great at following physical cues from people anyway.
Yeah,
we'll keep that. That's fine.
I think specific. No, I think it's still blurred. I think here's the way that it works. Here's the way that it works. This is the real way. It's if someone's intending to say something with their body language or intending to say something with a gesture, then it becomes censored.
So only if it's intentional. What if they're like
there's like a threshold.
So what if you just make them uncomfortable and then they react automatically? Do you not understand that, or do you understand that? Because that's not intentional.
If it's an automatic reaction, then probably not. But
probably
if they're
not,
if they're intending to let you know that they're uncomfortable by like trying to give you hints so that you'll go away, then you will not understand 75% of it.
Okay, so that will barely impact you because most of the time people are reactionary with their body language. So
is that true? I guess maybe.
I would say so. I don't.
Not in a professional setting.
I work online. I don't know, bro. Like this doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. You have the copy paste meta.
Well, I won't be able to understand any of my calls.
That's true. You are screwed.
Have them repeat it 4 times.
Yeah, no, but you just record the audio and then afterwards play it back to yourself. Like over.
No,
and over.
if it's a recording, I think it's the same instantiation of it.
It is?
All right, I purchased
copy and paste.
I purchased 4 methods of recording software and hope one of the dice rolls work.
I think that's the play. I think that's the workaround.
That might actually be the play.
Oh my god.
This sounds still way better than having the marshmallows in my mouth.
Yeah, this is the marshmallows are losing out hard right now.
It's so funny because it's like the reason you're choosing this one is there are any workarounds at all because the marshmallows are just so debilitating. Like a terminal marshmallow patient.
What if I visit home and I want a slice of pizza? It's not gonna happen.
Oh no, bro.
Where is it gonna? No. Am I gonna blend it and shove it down the tube? I'm not gonna test it or taste it.
Order it. You can order it. You can order the pizza. Oh, you're talking about the marshmallow. Oh.
Yeah, dude. Where is it gonna go? My mouth is filled with marshmallows. I'm not gonna put some pizza in there. It's not gonna fit.
Nah, man, you're not eating anything good for
Hold
the next
on.
few years.
Yeah, I think you could probably get away with not having a feeding tube because I bet what you could do is like the way I imagine this is like your mouth is full of marshmallows. But you could like pry your mouth open, like if there's.
I don't even know why we're trying. The communications has still cleared
dude,
this.
It's communication, man. It's not gonna happen.
This is disgusting.
Don't try to get us to vote for marshmallows. It's not happening.
God.
Dude, you pry your mouth open and marshmallows are just gonna fall out while more.
Dude, this is industrial marshmallow, by the way. Are we gonna get like a drill to like go through the middle of your mouth, like make a little hole, you know?
I'm
the marshmallow man.
I'm trying to sell you guys on the marshmallows.
So is your mouth just a cornucopia for industrial marshmallows?
Okay, there's a set number of industrial marshmallows. Industrial marshmallows are identical to normal marshmallows, but they have an odorless, tasteless preservative that keeps them not moldy and still firm and able to soak in saliva forever.
So communication.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so communication.
Out of that conversation.
I don't know. I actually might choose the marshmallows.
Well,
There's
you're wrong. That's why.
Yeah, it's just usually the wrong option. We've spent like 30 minutes or however long, 15 minutes discussing why that's the wrong option.
It would be pretty uncomfortable, and I would have
Bro,
no.
If you choose the marshmallow, okay, maybe you can understand other people, but how are you going to talk?
You write stuff down.
Hey, you use text. So either way, so one
You
option.
could already do that in the other situation.
No, you well.
Well, you won't understand what's going on. But you won't understand what you've written down after looking back down.
No.
at it 25%
I'm
of the
gonna
time.
make like a tool that like just repeats the text like 6 times, you know, and at least once it's gonna work.
That's so
Statistically, possibly, but not all the time. Not all the time.
All the time. That we'll make it 8. Whatever,
Also, what happens if you write a letter? Can the next letter be confusing and then the next letter be fine, or like?
It's sentence by sentence.
Okay.
If it's a word, if it's just one word, then that's considered as a sentence. Like if it's
Gotcha.
it's just one sentence.
Also, we would have to somehow design this text using this duplicate text editor thing while having the issue because it's automatic, right? It's as soon as you agree to it. You don't have prep time.
Yeah, you have to code
So
it.
you're gonna have to write that.
In these conditions. Oh my god.
It's still better than a marshmallow. I'm not. Nothing's gonna change my opinion.
Yeah.
This marshmallow shit is terrible.
It sounds like you guys are pretty
We're pretty sad.
No one's swayed to the side of marshmallow. It's not happening, no matter how much you try.
Mhm.
But I feel like it took some time to get there. I wonder if you would feel the same way if it was for your whole life.
That's what I thought the original
Oh.
question was, and in that case, I think I'm taking the marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
marshmallows.
Yeah, the marshmallow. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's some proportion of communication to marshmallows that's like actually really tough.
Yeah. There's some equilibrium, you know, like okay, like the 3 years of the marshmallow, or like
6
8
years.
years.
Or
Ooh,
8 years,
6?
yeah.
Okay, something like that. Yeah.
Something like double the time
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
in the communication twilight zone.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
my
a
God.
threshold somewhere where it can shift, but
Like how many years of this communication business would you take to like avoid having to stuff yourself with marshmallows for 3 years? Right now, what's the number you would give? I think.
No. We'll do it this way. We're all bidding right now. We all have to do the marshmallows, and we're bidding years of being messed up with communication.
Yeah.
I'll start the bidding at 1 year.
wait. So however many how long we spend with the marshmallows in our mouth reduces the amount of time we have being unable to communicate.
No, I think we're betting on how many years we have for communication, and whoever wins that has the communication for that many years, and the other people have to do the three years of marshmallow in their mouth.
3 years.
Like, how many years are you willing to bid to now avoid having marshmallows in your mouth for 3 years?
Thank you. Yep, you have it exactly right.
Okay.
So we're in the bidding at 1 year.
I'll take 1 year.
So you have to raise it.
Yeah, he starts at 1 year.
Okay, 2 years.
I'll go 3. Oh, easy.
5.
We've been here 5 years.
I'll skip 4.
I
5.
can't. I'll go 6. You guys have swayed me that the marshmallow is really bad. I think 6 is as far as I would be willing to go.
6 is tough. I'm thinking about 7.
Yeah, I can't go further than that.
Like I said, I'm already like at 50% kind of already with the half deafness, so I mean like 7, 8 is not going to be a problem for me. I'll go 8.
Yeah, Alex is.
You just raised yourself.
Oh, I can't. I was
going
close on 7. I don't think I can do 8. I don't think I can do 8.
No, he raised me technically because I was at 6.
I think we're taking the 3 years of mellow.
I think we're mellow. I think we're mellow men.
Can I listen to instrumental music?
Yes.
What would that help you
Yes.
with, though?
I mean, oh wait, that's actually such a good question because technically, people are intending to.
Oh God, dude! Like 75% of song lyrics are fucked.
Yeah. So
Well,
I will
also
listen to
games and
lyrics.
videos and movies. Dude, you can't do anything.
Well, we already decided just have 4 copies of everything.
Dude,
and you'll
this
be
is
able-
this is
and
the
you'll be able to
time with
understand it
which
by
you
one-
become a philosopher, right? You're not consuming anything, okay? You are just thinking within your own head and doing your own thing. This is your time to create your magnum opus, okay?
You go off into the forest.
Exactly. Like you can't do anything else. If like sitting around trying to say chubby bunny all day, like that's not going to be a fun time. Like you're just going to be miserable. All right? But like at least with the potential of just like, okay, you're shutting out essentially all lines of communication. You get to create whatever music you want in the woods, I don't know, and just like, or like writing your texts, or like creating whatever you want. Like I think that would be preferable.
But you can't even understand the music you're making, bro.
Yeah, keep in mind, when you're making music, you are intending to convey an emotion. And when you intend to convey anything, it's language, it's communication, which you can't understand 75% of the time.
Wait, so you can't even write? You can't write because you're trying to convey.
No, you can write. You just won't be able to read it back.
So you can create music. You just can't listen to it back.
75%. Which is going to hinder the music making process heavily.
Hey, if it's 5 years, man, you got time. You got time. It's all you're gonna do. You got nothing else to do.
Well, I'm not
Exactly.
gonna.
Honestly, I'm really starting to feel the marshmallows, bro.
See, I was like, okay, I was like, you guys dismiss the marshmallows too quickly. It's like all language is such a wide net. There's like so.
I'm still doing it.
Oh my god! No, I'm starting to get swayed, bro. Oh my god.
Wait, so if someone punches you in the face because they're portraying anger, can you not understand that they're punching you in the face?
No, it's blurred. It's blurred.
What do you mean it's blurred?
The fist is blurred as it collides with your jaw.
Wait. So you cannot.
Do the neurons communicate the pain to my brain? Like, am I like immune to pain 75% of the time?
No. That's not.
That would be OP.
But it's conveying. It's conveying emotion.
If they punch me in the cheek, the neurons in my cheek are communicating with my brain to make me feel pain.
Yeah.
That means you wouldn't feel 75% of anything.
Okay. So the question still stands: is that count as communication? Am I not feeling 75% of anything?
I don't know that that's language. I don't think the neurons are. I mean, maybe they are.
But you just said that the conveying of emotion through music is language.
Your neurons are communicating with each other, but not with you.
So if your neurons are communicating with one another, can the communication get confused 75% of the time?
That's what I was just asking.
Are you just a vegetable?
No, you aren't the neurons. You have a soul, and that's who you are.
The neurons have no effect in my communication.
Neurons,
I will feel pain 100% of the time. I will feel things 100% of the time.
The neurons don't have this debuff. Only you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still worth over. I'm still convinced for this over marshmallows.
I don't know. It's kind of.
Dude, I don't know, man. Marshmallows. I mean,
at 6 years, at like double the time on the language, it's especially hard. Because I feel like there are some video games I could play that.
By year 2, you'll be like used to it though. You'll be used to having to buy 4 copies of everything just so you can understand it.
So can you only look at a chessboard a quarter of the time? Because it's communication.
Chessboards are interesting. I have a feeling if you were to play against someone, you would only understand the moves that they're making 25% of the time. But if you random chessboard, like just in the wild, a random configuration of chess pieces, I have a feeling it's emergent enough and also devoid of intention such that I would classify it as not language.
So the magic chessboard on the hill that you can look at because it was magically placed there by God.
Dude, what the fuck? I'm completely converted. Actually, hold on. I might even go 3 years to 3 years on the marshmallow.
Honestly? I might also have to switch to the marshmallows, because if you cannot sit around and just like, learn music and skills and things like that, because half the time you can't communicate, and and a quarter of the time you can't even like create or learn things yourself because you won't know what the hell's going on. Like that, that you're just going through life and you're just like, why am I alive? I can't enjoy myself. What? There's no entertainment that you can actively enjoy consistently, and there's nothing you can create consistently. Like that's hell.
I'm amazed that it took you guys this long to get to this point.
Well, okay. The reason though is because the creation of your own things seemed separate, because I was like, music and art would still exist. Right, you can still create your own music and art, but if you take that away, this is what's
changing everything. Yeah,
because if you take that away, on top of being incapable of communicating and consuming, what are you doing with your? What are you doing? There's nothing to do.
There are things in the world that exist naturally and without intention. I think your strat of going into the forest is probably a good one, because it's a good way to absorb beauty that wasn't intended, unless God exists, in which case I think everything is just going to be blurry.
Can I tell if a lion is can I tell if a lion standing in front of me in the jungle or on a safari or whatever is intending aggression or peace? No, because that's 25% of the time I don't know.
25% of the time you will.
Or so there are still dangers there of just going out in the wild. I don't know.
Yeah, that's rough.
I need that marshmallow life. Okay, I will do the same thing. I will seclude myself in the woods for 5 years or whatever the heck, and so that no one has to see the disgustingness of like marshmallow face all the time, and I'll just live my life.
Well, the thing is, if you have the marshmallows, you can still watch movies. You can still play video games. Like
exactly.
The feeding tube might get in the way of things, but
I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, it's you can't really communicate with people very well. You can't really go out or do anything. Whatever, that doesn't matter. Like, at least you can vegetate on YouTube. Like, it's like, what are you going to do if you can't communicate? Like, if you can't communicate or you can't understand people,
you can watch 25% of a YouTube video and understand it.
No, you can't. It's one instance of a YouTube video.
No, well,
no,
you'll
exactly.
understand 25% of it.
Yeah, of the YouTube video.
Oh, right. Wait, but you said that one instance of a book doesn't work. I thought if it's 1/4.
No.
No, you only understand a quarter of the book, so effectively you would need 4 copies of the book. Yeah. Each one is a different quarter.
Oh,
each one you have a different quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a new instantiated sentence each time.
Okay.
You know what? Completely converted. Yep, I'm going full marshmallow.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 years to 3 years? Oh shit, bro. I might even go less.
Hard.
Wait a second.
Well, 3 years of marshmallows for 1 year of communication.
So like 2 years, I was thinking, of communication.
I think Alex is the only one willing to go hard in the paint with.
Like I keep saying, I'm already deaf. This right here does not work, so I'm already at 50%.
You're already at 50%.
So 25% is nothing.
It does extend pretty far beyond that as well, though.
Point.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've come to the natural conclusion of this debate here.
Have we?
Natural conclusion.
This is natural. Nothing about this was natural.
Dude, we gotta ask this. We gotta ask the marshmallow question to like every guest from now on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
that was a good question.
That was excellent. Oh my god.
This is how you know I was a philosophy student.
Of course.
This is what we do in philosophy class.
Alrighty, I'm gonna ask one last question since we're at 2.5 hours pretty much. Although probably closer to 2 since you've been here, because we started a little late. But is there something that you are looking forward to most over the next week? Or if you can't think of something over the next week, the next month, that you think is keeping you excited to be alive?
He just goes, no.
This is a question for me.
Well, it's maybe a question for all of us. But
well,
yeah,
we answered this last week. I would say for the 3 of us, it has to be over the next week. Because
I agree.
We'd have to repeat the same question.
I don't know. My dad's birthday is this weekend.
Nice.
That's cool. My dad.
Good vibe.
Existence.
By this weekend, do you mean like the weekend that we're
Weekend
currently in?
like we're in right now.
Okay, cool. I was gonna
The
say
one that-
next
the weekend
weekend
that
we
we're
have
recording in.
Friendsgiving. I don't know what you're talking about.
Next weekend is Friendsgiving. No,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
week, the weekend we're in right now.
Gotcha.
I think in a month's time exactly, I'm gonna be going onto the East Coast to visit everybody, which is very
Let's
exciting.
go.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that. I mean, I don't know that it's keeping me alive. That's very severe language.
Or
But-
it's
Yeah, no,
something.
I ignored
it's
that
something
part. It's just-
it's something that you're like. I guess something that gives you the joy of life in a sense, where it's like this is something that's like
Okay.
very, because I specifically said that it's something that gets you excited to simply be alive. Not something that's like,
Okay.
oh, this is the thing that's like the reason for my living. But
I would be
Yeah.
dead otherwise. You know,
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
not like that.
I am yes, that is what I'm choosing then. I'm very excited to see everyone again. It's been a long time because I've been on the
That's been a long time, bro.
mhm.
I know. So it's gonna be a meaty, a hefty visit. We're gonna
A
have
meaty visit. That's
a
what I like to
meaty
hear.
visit. There's gonna
Oh,
be some
yeah.
heft. There are gonna be
Chunky.
some calories in that visit. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar thing for me. I am coming back next week.
Oh,
Flying out
Awesome.
on Friday night, landing Saturday, and that same day, spending a few hours with family at least at the start. Gonna eat some delicious Indian food for the first time in months,
Okay.
and then I have a Friendsgiving meal later that evening with this Alex over here. So that's gonna be an enjoyable day. That's definitely like the biggest excitement that I have right now.
that's
Very
all.
nice. Very nice. Yeah, I don't have too much coming up. I think I'm playing poker this week.
Nice.
Oh!
Which
Nice.
is pretty boggers. I don't know if any of you guys play poker. But
I want to
A
learn
little bit,
though.
yeah.
dude, we
Oh.
could get you in for a session. Luke.
I
you know,
need it.
Luke has
I
been
need
playing.
the sesh.
Luke has been doing some poker, so yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
So I'm looking
please.
forward to playing. Yeah.
Nice.
So
That
yeah,
sounds so hype.
if you're around, I'm sure 100%. Yeah, we can make it happen. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
will be
well.
around for that entire weekend of Thanksgiving. So
Excellent. Yeah, I don't
do
know what
something.
the time frame is gonna be, but yeah, I'll keep you posted. Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, because I would like to do some stuff in person. And Alex, if you would like to join, you could.
I'm
you,
not.
Well, I can-
I'm
I'm
not
not-
talking. I'm the
Wait,
other
wait,
Alex.
which
Oh.
Alex are you talking to? Me?
Wait, me.
Or him?
Wait.
Wait, which Alex
Uh,
are we talking about? Now
I'm talking to
I
Cuba.
think he was talking to me,
that's
guys.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if
Cool.
I could pull up, I would.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Oh
I don't
my
know how
God.
long it takes you to get on to Queens.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah. Do you normally take the ferry to get back to the Lure or whatever? That's how you normally get back and forth from Stony Brook, right?
Well, we're from Stony Brook.
Yeah.
I would take the train into to Brooklyn. My dad would pick me up on his way home from work because he works
Gotcha.
in Brooklyn.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything. I currently have like 2.5 hours of footage, so I think
Have fun editing.
I think that's enough. I'm not really editing,
Let's
bro.
go.
Well, at the beginning, it's just gonna be a image of my OBS screen because I was screen grabbing the wrong page, but that's okay. Anyway,
Let's go.
You're doing God's work, Albert. This is a lovely podcast. I feel so welcomed as a guest, and this is so important for the cultural archival history.
of
You know?
course.
Of course.
This is
Yeah, you nailed
this
it.
really is a moment in time in society.
we really are living here. Holy shit.
We exist. Alrighty. Thanks everyone for coming today. Also, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed us in our theoretical conversations talking about life and all of these would you rathers
And
as
marshmallows.
well. and marshmallows.
Dude, that was so good. Oh my
Such a
God.
banger.
What a question.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.